Joe Rogan Podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
What's up, Trae? Good to see you.
Cool, and what's up, my brother?
Hey, I got a question for you and everyone who wears grills. All right, I got Invisalign on, and I'm trying to talk with Invisalign, and every time I've tried it, I bailed out of it. How the fuck do you talk so clear with a grill on?
I think we just get used to it, especially from Houston. You know, it's just our culture.
Yeah, I want to meet Paul Wall and ask him. He seems like the guy who understands grills more than anybody.
Yeah.
Because like Post Malone had one on, and then you hear him sing and talk, and he sounds perfect, but I can hear it in my voice. Can
His
you hear
might
it?
be implanted. I don't know if his was a grill. Like,
Implanted.
like,
Oh, like where
for
they
years.
they dig into your teeth
Like,
and
yeah.
glue it in there?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't hit that phase yet.
How's yours on? Did yours slides in and you could slide it out?
Yeah. I don't eat with them. I just keep them on throughout the day.
Do you ever leave it somewhere accidentally?
Never. But
No.
that's something people do a lot. They used to always, coming up younger, they used to put them in napkins or put it in their pocket and allow to throw them away and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I already lost one like that.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
Yeah.
I've
But
been
I didn't
good
lose a
keeping
grill.
mine.
I just lost Invisalign. That's what I'm saying. It's like the wimpiest version of a grill. So what's happening, man? How you doing?
Man, bliss just in work mode in all aspects, man.
Work mode. What's work mode for you? Like what happens?
It depends on which world, because, you know, of course, music-wise, that's my first and foremost, but then the hometown hero side and then just helping people and being a daddy is just work all around the clock.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. What is this hometown hero stuff?
That's what they label me, you know. Well, they label me that in Houston, but now it's got to the point they label me that everywhere just for the help I do, whether it be hurricane disasters, whether it be just assisting with people, whether it be frontline for the community, whether it be fighting for justice, whether it be just assisting and caring for the town the way that I do. You know, my son named Houston. That's how much Houston I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun seeing you backstage at the Post Malone concert.
Yeah, it's one of my little brothers, man. A lot of people don't realize the history with me and a lot of artists. Like, I remember when Post was first coming up. That's how far back we go, man. I always been supportive and just always had his back. So, you know, it's been that way with a lot of artists. So whenever they see me, it'll be super excitement.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool to see that respect.
Yeah.
It's like a thing. You got to stop in and check in with Trae when you come to Houston.
But you know, it's not the forceful way. It's more
No,
of
no,
that's
a love
they
way.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
Sure.
it's a nice way. It's a nice way.
Yeah.
So you were saying you never smoked and you never drank your whole life. Nothing.
Yeah, never smoke, never drink, man.
How did you dodge that?
So crazy story is, man, coming from where I come from, most people smoke and drink, you know, when they tend to go through stuff just dealing with life, you know, that's what kind of put their mind at ease. And I was always one of the people I felt like I'm going to deal with it head up. However it hit me at that moment, it can't get no worse than that. So I always just decided to not to, because at the end of the day, when I got done smoking or drinking, if that's what I decided to do, the reality still going to kick in. So I'd rather just deal with the shit head up.
That's a good mindset. But smoking and drinking is fun.
I watch everybody around me do it
Yeah.
all day, every day.
Well, there's nothing that sort of illuminates the problems with alcohol like watching someone be drunk and you're sober.
You know, man, I always been more of a protector my whole life, so I'm always just watching the atmosphere anyway, so it don't really bother me. I be watching out just to make sure everybody's straight at all times.
Right, so you're like the designated driver.
I don't want to be classified that.
I don't
that's
mean that way. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Just like the wise, sober person in the room, keeping
Yeah.
everybody together. Yeah, it is an interesting thing because we all know so many people that have ruined their lives because of that.
Yeah.
You know, just gets away from them. That's all they want to do, smoke and drink, and your life just kind of gets away from you. You're just escaping it instead of being in it.
You know, man, something that I realize, everybody not built to be that strong, and everybody not able to deal with a lot of things, you know.
Right.
So sometimes that's their scapegoat, and I'm one of the ones not to judge. I just, if it suits you and that's for you, you know, you got to do what you got to do.
That's a good way of looking at it, too, because that is true, that we all have different levels of ability of handling shit.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes, but when you get into tricky things like alcohol or pills. Pills is a tricky one.
Yeah, pills can
Doesn't
be dangerous.
seem like anybody can handle those. We had Kurt Angle on the other day, from WWE, and he developed a pain pill problem because he broke his neck like 5 times.
Damn, I didn't even know that.
He got fucked up. His neck is fucked up. It's crazy. And we watched some clips of him doing it. But, I mean, this guy won the gold medal in the Olympics with a broken neck, and he still got hooked on pills.
I could imagine only because once you get used to that pain, and that's what's putting you at ease, you gotta, you go from a couple to, let me just go and get a few more in so I can make sure I'm good throughout the day. And
yeah, it just becomes a part of your body.
yeah.
You can't get away from it.
But you gotta be cautious, man, because now you got fentanyl and all that other shit. And every time I see something with that, I rarely see somebody make it through that.
Yeah.
That one for sure gonna kill you, so you gotta be cautious.
Yeah, that's the real problem with getting stuff off the street. If you're trying to get coke off the street, they're not making it the Pfizer lab. It's not like you're not getting the same batch every time. You don't know what the fuck you're getting if you don't know the guy who's buying it from the people. Like you don't know what the source is.
Yeah, you even it's so crazy. You can even find weed laced with the shit. So it's just, man,
That's what I've
everything.
heard.
Yeah, everything can be fucked up, man. It's
Why would they lace weed with it?
never know, but it's as many people as this shit affecting are hitting and passing from it. It's definitely something that they're doing.
Because weed is illegal in a lot of states, 90% of the weed that's grown, that's sold in these states where it's illegal, is grown on public land by the cartels. Because in the places where weed is legal, like California, it's only a misdemeanor if you're growing weed like without a permit. It's not a big deal. So they just set up shop in the national forests in places where they're not supposed to be, and they grow weed. Because if they get caught, it's not that big of a deal, but they want to protect their product too. So these guys who used to be like game wardens, now they have like tactical teams with dogs and shit and MP4s and machine guns, and they're going through the woods fighting the cartel. It's wild.
You see it in the movies, but that's what happened in real life, for real.
For real. And he was explaining to me how it's really dangerous because they use all these like super toxic pesticides and shit that no one else is allowed to use. Like you can't really use that if you're growing, especially if you're growing something organically, which is ideal. So they're just using all kinds of shit that's like super toxic.
Yeah, and then that means it's gonna weigh down and affect the people for sure.
Yeah, and isn't it crazy that all that is just because it's illegal?
Man, I'm not sure when, but I'm assuming they're gonna have to make it legal in Texas at some point, man.
At some point. It seems silly, especially because Texas is supposed to be all about freedom. I had a conversation with this guy, Alex Berenson, yesterday. He's a reporter. He used to work for the New York Times, and he pointed out, he's like, everybody wants freedom, but if you get that freedom and everything's legal, you're going to have a bunch of drug overdoses you wouldn't have. You're going to have a bunch of people that are addicted you wouldn't have gotten addicted if it was illegal. They wouldn't have bought it. And because it's legal, you're going to have to deal with that. And it's true. But it's an uncomfortable truth.
The flip side of that is I've yet to see anybody really pass away from weed.
Yeah. Even from cancer, right?
Right. And
they're smoking it every day. They're not getting lung cancer. That's crazy.
Right. So that's the only part they get it confused why they haven't made it legal as fast.
I mean, if there's things like, the opiates, if they're legal, you can get those, but you can't get weed. That seems silly. That just seems silly. That doesn't make any sense.
I think, honestly, man, the reason why it's probably not is just because they haven't figured out a way to monetize off of it.
Well, the problem is you can't patent it, right? So, like, if you're selling, whatever it is, some thyroid medication or something, you can patent that, and then it's your medication that you invented, and then you own the patent on it, so you get all the profits from it. But when it's a plant, that whole model gets like thrown into the bushes. Like you can't do shit. Everybody could grow it. All you need is dirt and water, and you can get the drug.
And then a name, because you can rename it as much as you want. Yeah. Yeah,
and then you can name as many strains as you want. It's the Wild West out there, but you couldn't if it was patented. Maybe that's what they would want to do is make like a genetic strain, like a Monsanto type weed, where they can completely control it.
Yeah, definitely, because that's because they know that's gonna be their moneymaker.
Yeah, it seems like it's just such a conundrum, because I admire people like you that no alcohol, no weed, no nothing, just discipline. I admire that.
It builds us to be a little stronger, because man, I done been through so much shit in life and watched a lot of people go through stuff that may take their life because it may be real crucial, but when you getting to the point of where I am, you deal with everything head up. It's like it ain't really much. It ain't like it's a breeze or a cakewalk every time, but for the most part, we'd be like, man, it'll be all right. I'll deal with it. And, that's what keep me going.
Well, I guess also if you get used to just dealing with shit, then you get strong at dealing with shit. Whereas if you're just drowning it out all the time, then that becomes a habit.
But it's so crazy. It became even a bigger habit for me, right? I don't know how long ago it was when I got shot, but when I got shot, they ended up the crazy thing is they didn't do surgery or anything, right? I got shot. It was so many people outside the hospital that they were like, man, we need to get him out of here, because they never seen nothing like that. So they don't know if the people outside was against me or was for me. They just never seen it. So long story short, left, got home, cleaned around, and just got the bleeding to stop. But days later, they tried to prescribe me medicine. I think I took the medicine probably for the first 5-6 days, and then once I decided that I could make it through half a day without it, I just like, man, fuck it. It can't get no worse than this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It'll only get better. So dealing with that, that's just it developed a habit of anything I do. I just go at it about that way. I don't know if you ever seen on on YouTube, I took the bullet out myself.
Jesus.
Yeah, but it's just.
Where'd you get shot?
I got shot directly in my back, and it shattered my shoulder blade and spent to my shoulder. So it sat there for like 4 or 5 years. And it's so crazy, right? When you hear people tell you the stories.
There it is?
Yeah.
So,
That's me taking it out.
So it was pushing out. How long after you got shot?
Yeah, about 5. It could have been like 5 years.
5 years. So the bullet was it was working its way out of your skin for 5 years. Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
And went on and continued my day.
Did you get it stitched up at least?
Nah.
Really?
Yeah, but it healed like it was supposed to, man. The fact that them not doing surgery on me when I got shot and it healed, that was a cakewalk at that point. So
why didn't they want to do surgery?
One, I don't know if for them not have, I guess for how many people was there so fast, and then them not being able to go in and know if it's somewhere that was damaging or however you want to put the words, but that shit, they were like, man, we gotta get them up out of here, and that was just the reality of it. But the only bad thing is, cause they didn't move it and it was there, it got tangled up in a lot of my nerves and muscle. So like if you ever pay attention to me, like I can't lift my arm directly straight up or do a lot of different things because it was sitting in there for so many years.
That's got to piss you off, because they could have just pulled that out, right?
Definitely, yeah, definitely, because it was so close to the edge. Because from the time I got shot to the time it came out, you could always feel it. So it was that close.
That's the thing about doctors. Like, you can get a really good doctor, or you can get a doctor that's like, fucking leave it in there.
And it's crazy, right, man? Because I help a lot of kids in life, and you watch some of these doctors. They take a personal liking and loving to these kids, and just trying to figure out ways to help them, or even some of the elders. And then you got some people like, shit, it ain't gonna work. They ain't gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? That's the fucked up part about it.
Yeah, well, I think some people get real calloused, unfortunately. I see a lot of people die, and then they lose their feeling for it. Yeah. And other people never do. That's the best thing about great doctors, is you just really appreciate them. If someone who really cares, you really appreciate them.
That extra let's try one more time sometimes can change everything,
Yeah.
as opposed to there's nothing else we can do.
Yeah, especially when someone's got a bullet in their shoulder. Just get it out of there, man. Especially when it's right there. Like, how far below the surface was it, like, when you first went in?
Oh, no, so when I first went in, it was just bulging, like,
So it was like
but
at the
if you could do
skin?
it, yeah. So if you do this, you could always feel it. So though, like when you look at the video that was on YouTube, by that point it broke the skin on its own, because you'll hear stories like bullets they'll push their way out, or you'll hear the stories during rain or cold weather it'll make you feel some way, like that shit
Yeah.
really for real.
It makes sense. I mean, there's a piece of metal in you. That's what everybody says that has, like, broken arms when they get plates. They get plates in their arms or in their legs. A lot of fighters say that when it's cold out, it just sucks.
Oh, I didn't even think of it. I ain't never had a broken bone, so yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
When they break, a lot of times, like when you break your forearm, they have to do that. They have to
Like when they
screw
put the
it in
pins in.
yeah. It's pretty gnarly, man. You ever seen anybody get it done?
Nah.
A lot of people, they do it from a spinning back fist. They throw a spinning back fist and they hit the forearm. They hit their forearm on someone's forehead and it snaps that way. Or they're blocking kicks. But when they do it, man, the whole arm has to be cut open. They got to put a bar in there and screws and tighten it all together.
They take it back out, or it just stay there forever?
It depends. You can get it taken back out. Some guys have to get it taken back out because the screws start backing out and they start poking through the skin. It makes it really painful, especially if you're trying to kick or block kicks or punch or anything like that. So,
And that's crazy. As much as a diehard UFC fan, my one thing about that is watching them kick. I don't understand how they don't break their leg every time they kick. Even though I know they do different procedures to make it hard and
yeah. The different procedures don't really prevent it. It makes it definitely tougher. Like there's some Thai guys who have crazy shins because they've been like kicking bamboo trees and kicking pads and heavy bags and bags with sand in them. They've been doing that their whole lives. So they have like really dense shin bones, and they just swat people with those like they're baseball bats.
yeah.
There's this dude, I think his name is Malapai, and he was fighting in a lion fight, and this dude would just go shin to shin with everybody, just kick him in the shins. They just couldn't tolerate it. He would hit so fucking hard, and his bones were just so dense because he'd been doing it forever. But even those guys, like, they have to be careful. Like, I'm sure Anderson Silva has very dense bones.
I was just going to say that was
that
one
kick
of the
was
ones.
crazy.
Yeah.
That was crazy to watch, like, an all-time great snap his leg like that. Like, no.
That was one of the favorites. Still one of the favorites, though.
He's one of the greatest of all time. One of the greatest of all time. He was a master at finding people's chins. He's just a master. Master at, like, finding when's the opening. Blam! He was so good.
You know, somebody that people slept on, that if you had to be an original UFC fan, Vitor Belfort hands was probably some of the coldest when he was young coming in.
Yeah, nobody had hands like him at 19. He fought Trae Telligman. That was his first fight in the UFC. And
he from Texas, right? He from Dallas, yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. He was one of the Lions Den guys. Fucking jack, big, huge dude. And they thought Vitor, because he was a black belt in jiu-jitsu from the Carlson Gracie family, they thought that he was just going to do jiu-jitsu. And this dude just comes out and puts on a boxing clinic. And you're like, whoa.
He couldn't get away from it. Him and who else? Did he get Vanderlei
Scott
Silva?
Peroza was the next fight he had. And then, he fought Vanderlei Silva. He ran across the ring and just blitzed him with punches. That was crazy. See if you can find that. Vitor Belfort versus Vanderlei Silva. I mean, this is
and
crazy.
what's so crazy? At the time, it didn't do Vanderlei no justice because nobody knew. He ended up to turn out to be good as can be. But Belfort flushed right through that shit.
Well, he caught him and kept him caught. He just banged once, and then Vitor will just flurry. He flurried. But yeah, you're right, because Vanderlei did become an all-time great after that too.
Yeah, but see, then people didn't know. There you go.
It's just a blitz. Vitor had some crazy hands, just crazy hands. And he was terrified of Vanderlei. Everybody was terrified of Vanderlei.
I didn't know
That's
that.
why they called him the Axe Murderer. That was his nickname.
I didn't know that.
Vanderlei would just stare at you like this and do this shit with his hands before the fights. And everybody's like, oh, this fucking guy.
I think Vitor, man, once he gained all the weight, that's when he ended up taking the first L.
Well, he got way too big. But the problem with Vitor at that time, I think, was that you're starting to see this emergence of these big giant wrestlers. So like Mark Coleman was the best example. And Mark Coleman was like, 260, solid as a rock, giant jacked, super athletic wrestler. And he took everybody down. And everybody's like, oh my God, this guy's so big, I got to get big too. They felt like that was the only way to beat Mark Coleman. So there was like a bunch of guys who started getting really big. Yeah. But, that comes with a gas tank problem. You can't get that big with that frame. He just couldn't survive. And then when he fought Randy Couture, Randy just outworked him.
Yeah.
And
Randy was good.
Randy was very good.
Yeah.
Randy was very good.
A lot of people don't, man. So that's how far back I go. I used to have the VHSs to when they were doing the tournaments the whole day where you fight more than once.
Yeah.
And so I used to watch UFC like crazy, man.
The tournaments were wild. They fought more than once in a night.
I don't think they could do that no more.
Well, they did it in Glory Kickboxing a few years back. They did it in L.A. I think it was called Last Man Standing. And I think those guys, I want to say they fought 3 times in a night against world-class kickboxers.
Yeah,
just
crazy.
Bananas. It's like
who else was Tank was good back then? Tank had the
Tank
knockout.
Abbott, yeah. Oh, he was an animal. Yeah. He was the first guy to figure out to wrap your hands. Tank Abbott was the first guy to figure out, like, if you have MMA gloves on, you actually could punch harder. Because, like, it's harder to punch someone bare knuckle. You break your hands easier. But if you could really wrap your hands up and put gloves on, it's probably better. And so he was one of the first guys to put those gloves. He might have been the first guy, but he's definitely one of the first guys who was like a big power puncher who put gloves on.
Yeah, when he did the dude where the dude was hanging with his neck down. You remember that one?
Oh, God. Yeah. Scott Nelmark, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he was an animal. he was the worst case scenario, a guy who liked to drink, talked a lot of shit, and can fight. God damn it. And he fought anybody. He didn't give a fuck. He just fought anybody, whoever. He fought anybody they put in front of him. Never said no.
Yeah, Tank was one of them.
He was one of those guys, too, and he would show up. People would go crazy. They loved it. They loved that Tank was there.
You know somebody else, like these days, even though he's my brother, but still the beast the same way people love him no matter what.
Oh, yeah. We were just talking about him when we had Kurt Angle on. I was saying if anybody could transition from their MMA career into pro wrestling, it's the beast.
Yeah.
He could do it. Derek Lewis could 100% be a superstar pro wrestler. 100%. If he decided to retire from fighting, he would be huge. He's hilarious.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's gigantic. He's got all the qualities that you need to be like a good pro wrestler.
Yeah, and the people love him. You know, it's so crazy. Me and him, we saved a lot of lives together during Hurricane Harvey. We went and took care of Beaumont, Port Arthur. Matter of fact, it's so crazy. I got my lifted truck out there. That's the reason I bought it. I bought it because of him, because at first I was doing rescues and boats and doing different stuff, but then Derek came through in a lifted truck, and we were going past the boats in the water. So at that point, I ended up buying a truck, but we save a lot of people together. You know, that's one of my close brothers. That's why whenever y'all see me at the fights and he fighting, everybody be looking because I be on my feet yelling like crazy.
No, Derek's the man. He's hilarious. I'll never forget when he took his shorts off. I'm like, Derek, why are your shorts off? My balls is odd.
But it paid off because they ain't got a Manscaped commercial.
Yeah, he should have a Manscaped commercial. He should have a whole campaign. He's hilarious. Yeah, it's what a sport, huh? I mean, that's how I got to meet you, from you coming to the fights.
Yeah.
But it's I appreciate that you enjoy it too.
Yeah, shout out John Anik too. You know, he for sure he like, man, you and Joe, I got to get y'all two together, man.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
John Anik is the man.
Yeah,
I love that dude. That guy's the best play-by-play commentator in the history of the sport. He's the best. He's the GOAT. He's so smooth, man. When he called that Leon Edwards head kick right before Leon landed it on Kamaru Usman, because they were saying, we were talking about it like, he's down in this fight and, it's like, his corner's yelling at him, don't give up, Rock, go get him. And John Anik goes, but that is not the cloth from which he is cut. And then, boom, he lands a headshot. I mean, it's crazy. It's like a scene. Like if that was in a movie, you'd go like, that's too dead on. No one would make a call like that.
But y'all see it so much. It's probably, man, y'all see a lot of stuff come. Well, no, because I watch y'all expressions. Some shit y'all don't be seeing.
I didn't see that coming, man. I did not see that coming. That was crazy. See if you can find that. Play that, because it's like a historical moment. When Anik says it, it's like he captured it. It's really like a scene in a movie. It doesn't. It's like. See, show it to it. Show it.
I don't even know what the hell that was. Oh.
That's got music behind it.
No, I had a video going.
Oh, okay. Oh, you have two things going on at the same time?
The Tank had a video going and I didn't know I had music coming in.
Okay. So listen to this, because this is crazy that he nails it.
For Leon Edwards.
But that is not the cloth from which he is cut. I mean, that is a dejected.
Ah,
They got you.
Yeah.
of course.
They got you. Everybody's got to edit everything. These motherfuckers. They can't just leave shit
It was
alone.
like from the main. I linked it from an article about the call too.
Yeah.
They got me.
Well, that's it. Yeah, John Anik's the man.
Yeah.
He's just so smooth. That's a hard job, man. The job of the color commentator is way easier. The job of like my job and Daniel's job, like when DC and I do it, we're just having fun. Like we don't have to do any traffic. Like he's like directing traffic, and this brought to you by Modelo. He's got to do all that stuff, and
I never noticed the difference. I thought all y'all,
yeah. If you notice the difference, if you pay attention, it's like he does much more work. He's way better. Like he's like coordinated.
Yeah.
Like he's got notes and he's got index cards and shit. You know, he has to say certain things at certain times, you know, about Prime Energy drink and, you know, this movie's coming up and this and that. Like there's little things you have to jump in. Toyo tires. Like you have to jump in with all that stuff.
I thought that was all y'all. I didn't know it was just him.
DC and I are like eating snacks and having a good time watching the fights. Yeah, see, he's got cards and shit. Look at him all jazzed up. Yeah, he gets excited. He's the man.
Yeah.
Love that dude. The three of us together, so much fun.
Definitely, man. I watch y'all all the time. Man, you know, my wishes that I really want to see, I want to see Derek get a championship, and I want to see Dustin Poirier get one. Them two of my closest, man. They be right there at the edge, man.
Yeah.
Like, even the time that, the thing with Derek, most people ain't gonna be able to withstand the flurry once he gets you. But
once he hits you.
Yeah, but a couple of people got lucky and got through it and just threw me off. But that's what I want. I want at least them to at least get their chance to beat Champ one time, man.
Well, listen, Derek can knock anybody out. I mean, that crazy flying knee that he opened up his last fight.
It was worth it. He practiced it.
Yeah, it's crazy. He just nailed him right out the gate. And if Derek does that to anybody, they're on skates. He hits so hard. He's got the most knockouts of anyone in the history of the division.
Yeah, definitely do. And the crazy thing with him, it can be at the end of the fight.
Yeah.
All it takes is one for him.
He's always got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he carries that power late.
I thought Dustin even was gonna win this last fight. That kick came, you know. But Dustin, I feel like boxing wise, Dustin still he mastered that from his weave game to everything.
He's very good. He's very, very good. But so is Gaethje. I mean,
yeah. Not to take nothing from him, you know.
And Dustin got him in the first fight. The first fight, Dustin got him, and it was Dustin rather got him, and it was a hell of a war. And Gaethje got him in this one. But the way he got him, like, oh my God, that head kick. And the crazy thing was, it's in the same arena in Salt Lake City. A year later from the Kamaru Usman knockout. It's basically the same knockout. Yeah. It's the same knockout. The way Leon Edwards knocks out Kamaru with the left leg is exactly what Justin Gaethje did with the right leg.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like shows the punch, the kicks behind the punch. Same thing. Amazing.
Yeah, crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's somebody played a video or somebody made a video of the two of them back to back. See if you can find that. It's like you could see one plays out and then the other one plays out. And it's almost identical, just mirrored, just the different legs. Yeah. Left leg versus right leg. But Justin's a monster, man. Justin Gaethje, he's on fire right now. He's on fire. You know, I mean, he's only lost to the best in the division, you know, like Charles Oliveira and Khabib and a couple other guys like Dustin. But right now, he's on fire. He's on fire, especially that last fight. And then the fight before that with Fazeev. That guy's a beast too. And that was an amazing fight. So Justin is like, he's at the top of the heap. I would love to see him fight for the title. Like whoever wins this weekend with when is that? October 21st, right? No, when is the Oliveira one?
Yeah, that sounds
October
correct.
21st,
I
yeah.
just found the video though.
When that card takes place, like that's going to be a very interesting thing to see who gets the next shot at it, because Justin Gaethje versus the winner of that would be really interesting. Look at this. So here's Leon's kick on the left, and then Justin's on the right. Same exact thing. Wild, right?
That's crazy.
Wild. And that's 2 head kicks to win the title, a year apart from each other in Salt Lake City. Like, Salt Lake City's got some magic in the air.
Definitely. If that happened back to back in the arena.
Yes. Yeah. It's a crazy sport, man. When did you first start getting into it?
Oh man, since way back then with the Gracies and the Ken Shamrocks, I used to get them from Blockbuster. That's when I still probably got them VHS tapes, man. That's how.
Yeah.
So it was in the beginning phases, man.
That's how I got introduced to it too. I got UFC 2. I picked it up at Hollywood Video. And I was like, what is this? And I remember immediately thinking, oh my God, I have to learn jiu-jitsu. Like, these guys are all getting killed. When you watch Royce Gracie strangle everybody and break everybody's arms, you're like...
And people, I don't know how tall he is in person, but he was probably one of the smallest people. It seemed like, looking at it from a fan standpoint. He's skinny too, right?
Oh, yeah. Royce was 176 pounds. When he was tapping out guys like Dan Severn, who was like a beast, 250-pound wrestler, he was so good, man, and no one knew what to do. They had never seen Gracie Jiu-Jitsu before. And Royce he was the perfect advertisement for Jiu-Jitsu, too, because it wasn't like he was built. Like, he wasn't, like, jacked like Tyron Woodley or something, or someone, like, super jacked, Brock Lesnar. No, he's like a thin, normal-looking guy who fucked everybody up.
I'm talking about literally would choke the shit
Choke the shit out of people. And he was doing it to everybody, man. It was interesting. It was really interesting because so many people just didn't know what to do with him. And he was fighting with that gi on, which I think if they let him keep fighting with the gi on, I think in a lot of his future fights, he would have had better results too. Because he had some fights with no gi. And it's like, man, Royce with the gi was just a master at choking you with it, a master at getting you to grab it so he could initiate grappling exchanges.
Yep, that was his thing.
Boy, that one family, and particularly Royce, but that one family, they changed martial arts forever.
Do any of them still fight? None of them fight in the...
No, none of them. I mean, they're all quite a bit older, But talk about a family that had all-time great jiu-jitsu people coming out of it. I mean, that's insane. That one family really influenced the way martial arts is expressed all over the world. And people are learning Brazilian jiu-jitsu in Russia. They're learning, they're learning it in France, and they're learning it in Ireland, and it's one family.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. It's really crazy.
If anybody learning from it would be him. People need to go do their research and go back and watch some of his fights. Looking at him, you would have no idea.
Yeah, Royce was something really special because we had never seen that before. It was the first time we had ever seen something where the martial art was more important than size and strength. Like, if you were actually a smaller person who's proficient in this martial art, because that's what most martial arts promise you, that you would be able to beat a bigger person, but there's some physical issues. Like, if you're a 135-pound guy and you're fighting Derek Lewis, well, you got a real problem. You got a real problem. A size problem that I don't think you're going to be able to surmount.
He's going to slap your ass across that ring.
If he hits you once, you're in a coma. There's no way. It's just he's too big. You're not going to be able to just take him down. It's going to be wild. He's going to throw you off him. He's going to kick you. He's going to punch you. You're fucked. He's too big. But with jiu-jitsu, it became, if he didn't know jiu-jitsu and Royce got a hold of him, he could avoid the damage, drag him to the ground, and submit him. And we had never seen that before. It was always, if you saw two guys slugging it out, it was generally they were either the same size, if it was like a boxing or a kickboxing fight, or if they weren't, the big guy always killed the small guy. Always. And the UFC was the first time we saw this one guy who was like normal sized guy, not crazy muscles, nothing, just dominate everybody. We're like, what is he doing?
Yeah, he definitely was one of the faces starting the UFC.
What is he doing? Yeah. Then when you first went to see one live, when was that?
Crazy, I think Derek had me come out to, it was in Houston. That was my first time. It was him. I was with him and John Jones, and we actually gave out bump boxes too. And from there, me and Dana got real close, and just the whole team, and it's been that way since. You know, I ended up doing a deal with Dana not long after, you know, as far as the licensing and stuff with bump box. So that's why you see UFC across a lot of our stuff and a lot of our stuff within what they got going on.
Oh, that's awesome. So you guys got a collaboration together.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
That's why you see me every time at the fights. You'll see me backstage, but like when we do the weigh-ins and stuff, we make sure we take care of all the fighters and other stuff.
You know what's great that you gave me? That tumbler that has a speaker at the bottom of it.
Yeah. We did a partnership with Gronkowski for the and it's actually growing. People really still ain't even realizing it's a speaker on the cup. They just thinking it's a cool shaker cup, but no, it's something dope, man.
It's a great idea.
Well, actually, you know, you got the first, and Post probably gonna be mad because I got to get his, but you got the first cornhole with the speakers. You know,
Oh, really?
we own the rights to that. Any cornhole that has any type of music on it, that's us. So we had the first official cornhole with speakers on it, and you can pair them together. So as you playing the game, you can just vibe out.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a great beach game.
Definitely.
But I can't believe it's on ESPN
Tailgate,
now.
tailgate and beach,
It's fun.
Oh, it's a sport now on TV?
I think it's on TV.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's people that are surprisingly really good at it.
Let me
They
see.
can do a lot of shit.
Let me see some fucking pro
Do they
cornhole.
win? Like, what do you win? A bunch of money or?
Yeah, they do like tournaments in Vegas, I think, at the end of the day. But like, let's see if I can find with a lot of views. I've seen they're calling out what they need to do, and they just do it.
That's crazy.
It's like the whole 3 hours. Hold on a second.
Your bump box it's been a blessing for us. You know, shout out all my partners there. We took the company from just a few radios, just, you know, getting them out there to NAS worldwide.
So here's the World Championships, American Cornhole League.
Yes.
Okay, this is a top shots. Let's see. These guys stand around a lot.
Yeah, this should do.
One in the hole.
But he did it without hitting the other bags, which is kind of like, that's pretty fucking tough to do.
Is that better?
Because those bags are probably tied to the other team.
Right.
So if you knock them in, they get the points. If you don't do that, then you get the points.
Oh, that's crazy. This guy's doing it with a mask on. I hope I missed.
So you see how?
No,
so you
he
see
actually
how?
got
It's,
it in and knocked the other one off.
Did he?
Yeah.
You see how it's standing up
Sorry, buddy.
with the
Oh,
leg?
everybody has a mask. This must have been during COVID.
Yeah, I
I'm
think it
sorry.
was.
I'm sorry. They probably forced him to wear that mask.
You heard me, Joe? You see how
Sorry.
it's standing up with the legs? So
Yeah.
wherever the legs are, those are actual speakers.
Nice. What a great idea. Yeah, they're making these people wear masks. How stupid is this? But we're going to look back on the masks and go, what the fuck were we doing? What the fuck were we doing?
But COVID fucked up a lot of shit for everything, man. At this point, I realized just from helping so many people in the community in general, I realized how damaging it was. Business-wise, I watched how damaging it was because now if you pay attention to some of the new movies that come out, it just goes straight to streaming at this point.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know if that helped money for the movies, but it seemed like it definitely hurt.
I don't think it does, and I don't think it's good for the actors either. I think that's part of the strike. I'm kind of speaking out of turn here because I don't really know what the fuck I'm talking about. Is that part of it? Is that they want more money from streaming?
Yeah, but it's a lot of the actors that, are not top build type people. They get paid one fee and then they're never going to get residuals.
Right.
So that they're trying to get some of those residuals when stuff's getting resold. That's definitely part of it. There's other things involved too.
Bro, you know what they're doing that's wild? They're trying. Some of these studios are trying to make people sign contracts if you do background work, where they could just use your likeness from then on. so they could repurpose you in other background scenes as CGI.
Damn, they're like kind of like them licensing your name
Yeah.
as a permanently, I guess you would
For
say.
like nothing. It's just-
That shit crazy.
but that's the culture of people that aren't stars over there in movies, though. Extras are not. They don't think about it that way. It's really interesting because like they're going to be able to make movies with it. They're going to be able to make a movie with you, where you speak Chinese and you run an army somewhere. I mean, they can do whatever they want. They can with CGI and with this new AI voice stuff. They could literally do whatever they want, and they could turn any person who's already been in a bunch of films where they have your face. They could put you in all kinds of scenes. Like we're real close to them not needing actors anymore, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, and that even just not just the actors, just even with us with music. Like at first when they said something about it, and they may say something about you can put a Michael Jackson and somebody else on the same record. Of course you'd be curious to be like, shit, dope. I wonder what that sound like. But then when you start thinking about it, they damn near won't really need us at some point, because now they making your voice sound the same, they're making you look the same. Like it's just the shit weird. But one thing I know, man, the bigger companies, they gonna find a way to block this shit somehow, some way, because that's taking all the money.
It's definitely gonna change things, right? Like that Drake song that got put out, that was a fake Drake song, it was an AI created Drake song. People loved it.
Yeah.
They can do wild shit now, man. It's like we're not that far away from them being able to replicate full movies, all fake people.
Yeah.
have
I'll be watching
presidents.
from a distance. Like I'm watching a lot of the robot stuff start to really come to life now. And it's just.
Does that freak you out?
Yeah. So for two reasons. One, because definitely at this point, shit. Anything can, if anything go wrong at this point, we damn near fucked, because they build them damn near invincible.
Yeah.
But two, the other part that freaked me out is they show this shit in movies years back, and everything that they show is coming to be that exact.
Yeah.
Think about it, even with COVID, right? If you go look at some of the other movies where you have different pandemics, same shit. So then when you go to seeing shit with the what year Will Smith came out with that movie? That was
iRobot?
Yeah.
That was great.
That could have been, was that 10 years ago maybe? Or
Maybe more.
yeah, but to see that shit now, it's like they be knowing. It's
Right.
crazy.
What was it?
20 years ago.
That's even
years
crazy.
ago. Wow.
20 years ago, and now look at what we dealing with right now. So
Yeah, we're about 10 years away from that being real. They've already developed these very lifelike robots.
They're doing first human Neuralink.
Oh my
person
God.
Soon, and this is what Elon just tweeted an hour ago. That with that,
When a Neuralink is combined with Optimus robot limbs, the Luke Skywalker solution can become real. Holy fuck. Click on that, man. Let me see that.
this is.
Oh, this is actually.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's just showing like what it would look like.
I thought it really was that.
that shit,
Not yet.
That shit
How
could
come?
be
Yeah,
dangerous.
but probably one day they'll just have a fake hand.
Yeah, they're getting the first person. They're looking for someone with quadriplegia right now to do it. Whether or not they found that person over the last few days, I don't know.
Whoa, we are watching something. We're watching the seeds of something that's going to overcome the human race.
Yeah, and that shit is not good. That shit is just when you think about it. But of course, you think that shit'll be far gone past our time, but then you still got to think of our kids and those generations, because it's definitely gonna be dangerous.
It's definitely going to be dangerous, but they're going to have, our kids and their kids are going to have a totally different world that they live in.
Yeah, especially with you watch movies with the flying car shit. Now they really technically getting it together.
That is the last thing you want. People have a hard enough time just slamming into each other on the street, on the ground.
Announced this yesterday that there's a flying taxi warehouse opening up in Ohio next month or next year. Later
Whoa.
This year. I
Is
don't
it
know
true they
where
got
they're
one
gonna
in New
fly
York?
'em, but
Are you going to fly in one of those things?
Do they have one in New York already? That's not true. Did they start doing that in New York?
I don't know why they would do it in New York. There is one right there.
yeah, New York definitely has like the Blade system, which is like Uber helicopter kind of thing. I don't know if they have
What?
something like this.
Uber helicopter.
Yeah,
They have that?
And that's in the they used that. That's part of what the problem was in Uncut Gems. Like that wasn't around then. Remember, he uses that helicopter to fly from.
Oh yeah.
You can do it from from Manhattan to the airport and just skip all the traffic. Get there in 20 minutes.
Jesus. Helicopters freak me out.
I don't know about these.
I went up with Bill Burr. It was a lot of fun. Bill Burr is a helicopter pilot. He took me around
Yeah,
downtown
he one
LA.
of my favorite comedians, man.
He's
I don't know if
hilarious.
it's his voice or what, but yeah.
Oh, he's hilarious.
Yeah.
He's so good. Such a good guy. But he's a pilot. And so he took me in a helicopter around downtown LA. You can kind of go wherever you want. It is like a flying car. That's what they thought the flying car was going to be. They thought helicopters, when they first invented them, they thought it was going to be a flying car.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was see if you can find the original helicopter. Because I think that's literally what they were selling it as.
What do you mean?
The original helicopter that was just right.
Not Leonardo
invention.
Da Vinci. He kind
Oh,
of invented
yeah,
that
right. He
too.
wrote it down, right? He wrote it.
Original helicopter.
Flying car. See if it says that. Because I think that's kind of the concept. They thought, oh, we'll get helicopters, and then people just fly around in helicopters. And then I think they bailed on that. Because I think they realized, like, you want knuckleheads banging blades at 10,000 feet above cities.
Because if you watch people bump in traffic now and just
Exactly. Someone's on their phone, flying around in a helicopter.
Tweeting or texting, man.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah.
Definitely not good. Yeah, it's I don't know, man. I'm all for freedom, but I don't want people falling out of the sky onto people's houses either.
Yeah.
You know.
You know, man. I don't know. Helicopters, I don't really feel comfortable in helicopters. I'm more cool with a plane.
Do you ever do the
private
tour bus
plane.
thing? Do you do tour buses ever?
Yeah, sometimes, man. But we so comfortable now. We just jump in a load of Suburbans and get to where we gotta go. Because even when I think my last tour, me and T.I. did, we were on tour buses. But even then, it's more so just when we trying to get to the next city. Because ideally, we still gonna go to a hotel and do whatever
Right.
we gotta do. So yeah.
Oh, so you don't sleep on the tour bus?
You do if you're going from
Sometimes.
a city and you may have a 6 to 8 hour stretch, you got somewhere to lay down as opposed to having to sit up sleeping in the Suburban or something.
I don't feel comfortable sleeping in those things because I feel like if this thing crashes, I don't want to be asleep in this bunk bed.
I ain't never thought of it that way.
No?
Yeah, nah. That would be bad.
That's bad.
Very bad.
Real bad. Isn't that how Gloria Estefan broke her back? How do I know that?
I think so.
I think that's true. I think her tour bus
Miami
crashed.
Sound Machine.
What happened?
In the Miami
Yeah.
Sound Machine. Yeah, 1990.
That's what happened?
Snow-covered highway, Scranton, Pennsylvania. Semi-truck. 4 hours of surgery, spinal surgery. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
You just opened my eyes to that. I literally just talked to somebody 2 days ago at Drake concert who has tour buses. He was like, man, he told me next time you want to go out, whether it's touring, because my album getting ready to come out. So either that or even if you want to take the tour bus when you're going to go help during disasters, you can take the bus out.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. But you're going to make me think. It depends on how far that drive is.
Yeah,
'cause
don't
I
fall. Just don't lay down. Seems like you should be in a seatbelt. Because that's the thing about tour buses, too. People are driving around. It's almost like they're in a green room. It's like, bro, we're moving. Put the fucking seatbelt on. Let's not die. You don't do that in a regular car, right?
Definitely don't.
For a good reason. Because you don't want to go through the windshield. So put your fucking seatbelt on, bro. But, everybody wants to have a good time. That's the weird thing about, like, limos and tour buses. One of the things I heard about limos is when they crash, the real scary thing is people's heads slam into each other.
I could see that because it really,
Yeah.
limos, you rarely ever see seatbelts.
Yeah. Well, if they are, people aren't wearing them. And then, when they slam on the brakes, you go flying. And you go flying into each other. And you could fucking headbutt each other at 35 miles an hour. It's like not good. You think of the abrupt stop of like the violent action of some accidents. If you're not in a seatbelt and you're in a limo together, man, you could get fucked up.
Yeah, because you got to realize on a time of impact, usually when you see something coming, you can brace yourself. But when it's unexpected, it's a wrap.
Yeah, you're not even bracing. You just feel the driver hit the brakes. You don't know what to do, and then bam.
Yeah.
Not good. Wear your seatbelt, kids.
Yeah, definitely do that, man.
I was trying to find what you're asking me to look for, and I can't find it. And I stumbled across this. There's something called a Model A, Aleph. Have you seen this? It's a flying car, and they're saying it's available now. It's $300,000. I haven't found a video of it flying, but this is at the Detroit Car Show. It's got wheels here on like normal size were the wheels, but the rest of the car is made up of 8 fans, and it says it can fly like 110 miles. I'll show you a different video.
That's crazy.
What?
It's not this one.
Really?
That's right.
So it looks like a car and flies like that,
See,
just with the fans?
There's wheels there, and there's the whole rest of the body, and this, like the cockpit where you are turns.
Yo, how do you steer that thing?
I wonder if they make you go to flight school for these type cars.
You definitely should.
Take it off of that. There was an interesting video, but this doesn't show it flying. This thing.
Does that show it's flying?
Well, this is like their video of it, so it's not accurate, but that's what they're saying it's gonna look like.
Oh, so you're gonna go like sideways?
Yeah, I for sure
Look
wouldn't.
at all those flying above the.
I wouldn't fuck with
What?
it at all.
What? So I thought it was saying that the cockpit turns so the fans are behind you. Is
It
that what
says
happens?
street legal eVTOL, which means vertical takeoff.
Oh, look at that. There's an accident. He flies.
It just skips over it and goes back.
Yo.
That would definitely have a lot of people running into each other, but
They land on each other. Fuck you, bitch. This is my lane.
the way
Right?
that looked, this has like the blades. You can't hit anything with it. They're all
Right.
protected,
Right.
so that problem's gone.
But a fender bender, the blades would
You're
slam
fucked, for
into the
sure, for
fucking
sure.
structure, and then you'd be dead.
But
Yeah. I don't think I want to be part of that no time.
No,
soon.
not for the first few generations of it.
Yeah.
Let's sort that
They
out
got to get
first.
the kinks out first. Yeah.
You ever fuck with electric cars?
Huh?
You ever fuck with electric cars?
I mean, I got a Tesla, but nothing major.
Yeah, that's what
I still haven't let it auto drive me though.
No, that's scary.
Yeah,
I do it a
yeah.
little.
Oh, you did?
I go doo-doo, and I just like kind of barely hold on to the wheel, but it makes me feel weird.
Never went to sleep though in the midst of it.
No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was watching a guy on video. Somebody captured him from the cell phone. And this dude was asleep in his Tesla in bumper to bumper highway, just out cold.
Yeah,
And the
I can't.
car moves forward, stops, moves forward and stops, and he's just snoring.
All it takes is one wrong malfunction and
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, that can happen. It's not all worked out yet. Don't go
Yeah.
to sleep, bro.
But man, it's so crazy you said that because I was saying I was gonna find somebody tied in the Tesla. I wanted to just get the Tesla truck, just cause I don't know why.
Oh,
Because
it looks amazing.
Yeah, I think more so for the looks.
Oh, it looks
Yeah.
amazing. I saw one in real life and I was blown away because the pictures look good, but then when you're there in real life, it's big.
Oh,
It's
is?
big and it's stamped steel. Like that's not like a regular door. That's a door that can stop a 45 round.
Mm.
Yeah, the whole thing is stamped steel and it raises and lowers. So he hits a button, it gets up like I think it raises like 16 inches or something crazy like that. I might be wrong, but it has insane horsepower. It goes 0 to 60 in like 3.5 seconds. This giant thing made out of stamped steel. It's a car of the future.
They were telling me you have to be selected to be. I mean, even though they say you can put money down on it now, but you have to be. I think they're doing certain selected people that they'll let get it early. Because I sure was trying to get one.
I think they started delivering them because there was a truck that someone filmed on the highway that had Cybertrucks in it,
Yeah.
and they were delivering them somewhere. I don't know if it's delivering them to final production. I don't know if it's delivering them to the actual owners. Are people driving those things yet?
I have seen and heard a lot of the stuff you're just saying, and right now it says like someone might have leaked the event. They've sent out emails saying people might be able to come get them soon. Upcoming delivery event in Austin. Doesn't say when it is. It
shit.
could be next month or next year.
Oh,
They
shit.
finished building the factory out here already?
Yeah, the Gigafactory.
You know, I bought, it was so crazy. Right before they did it, I bought 15 acres in Thrall, Texas. not far from here. And then they just told me my price of my land damn near almost double just because of the Tesla factory.
That makes sense. That's a great investment. Yeah, that factory's nuts. Have you ever seen it? That's where they showed us the Cybertruck. It's huge. Like, the factory looks like the Death Star. Like, as you're pulling up to it, you're like, what are they making here? Yeah. I think it's the biggest building I've ever been in.
That's crazy. They brought it right to Texas. That's a good thing.
Yes.
Everything bigger in Texas.
Yeah. Isn't it one of the biggest car production buildings ever or something like that? It's something crazy like that.
Tesla, if you hear us right now, we want a Cybertruck. We definitely want one.
Yeah, we need to get that. That thing looks amazing.
Second largest building by volume in the world. 10 million square feet of floor space.
That means a lot of people got jobs now.
Yeah, a lot of people got jobs. A lot of cars getting made. They're getting made right here. When you see if you could Google Cybertruck, like let me see what it looks like when it's driving around. Do they have a video of anybody driving it?
YouTube Shorts has there's a few videos. There's like an inside video someone has here. And there's one driving around LA here.
When you see it in real life, man, it's sick. It really does look like something from the future.
Yeah.
I mean, that looks like a future car. Look at that thing. Like, if you were, like, looking at a movie from 2023 in, like, 1984, you would think this. You'd think, yeah, they're going to have, like, future-looking spacecraft trucks. It's one of the when you see it in real life, it's undeniable. You see it in real life, like I thought it was cool looking in pictures, but you see it in real life, like this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It's amazing, and there's no reason for it. There's no reason to make a bulletproof electric vehicle with stamped steel. Like, why are you doing that? But that's the cool thing about Elon. He does whatever the fuck he wants.
I was just going to say, it just seemed like he being able to live his childhood out at this point. He doing whatever he feel.
He does whatever he wants. Yeah. He does whatever he wants. It's amazing. He's got enough money and, ability to get things done. You know? I mean, that dude made his rocket extra pointy to be more like Spaceballs, right? Wasn't it Spaceballs?
He loves Spaceballs.
He loves that movie. So he made the rocket extra pointy to be like the rocket from Spaceballs.
That shit probably cost him a few million just to do that shit.
Doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He's having fun. I like when billionaires have fun. You know? Do you use X?
I mean, here and there. So most of the stuff that I put on Instagram, I just rehab it on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you fuck with TikTok or any of the other ones too?
I'm learning it, man. So I've been more of a hands-on Instagram. So I have people that do like my TikTok. I can get on it if I want to, and I still don't even know nothing about Facebook. I have people doing that for me too. So
right.
I literally can, whatever I post from Instagram, I just take it there. Cause I don't know. I built my Instagram following to that's just who I'm used to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What do you use more?
I use Instagram most. Yeah. But I love X for information. I still feel weird saying X.
Yeah.
Twitter. Whatever. I like that for information. It's just always interesting. Always interesting stuff coming up. Yeah. You know?
I use Threads sometimes too. At this point, I just got to keep up with the times.
Yeah. That's the weird thing, right? It's like there's always going to be some new thing that you have to keep up with. And you won't know about it till it's too late. Like, what's that? What are you guys doing over there?
See, it work. The reason it work out for us, like, so I got my and it's so crazy. I don't really get to put albums out. Like, you know, I love my music, but every time I get ready to put an album out, a disaster hit or something happened, and my energy and everything shift to that. So the music always get lost in the shuffle, and it's the first time in a minute that nothing's really just distracting me. And my album come out in October 20th, matter of fact. It's called Stuck in Motion, but being able to have the X, the TikTok, these are all different platforms that you really can use to promote, because everybody don't use, you got some people that don't mess with Instagram and only use TikTok. Some people now that, I don't know how heavy people are in the Threads, but some people only use X. So we found ways, we just use it for our benefit. You know what I'm saying?
Just use everything.
Yeah. Everything we can at this moment.
Just keep throwing it out there. That's great. It's great you've had that time to concentrate on your album too. That must be very exciting.
Yeah, it is, man, because, so this is the catch to the smoke part, right? So, everybody also have they thing, whatever. Some people may like to go work out to get out their frustration or whatever. Mine is I can vent through my music. I done been through so much. I've mastered just releasing it through my music, and the way I paint the picture, you'll have people actually feeling exactly how I feel at that moment. Because I'm not good at sitting up here like, man, Joe, I had a terrible day today. This going on. I don't feel comfortable. But if I do it through the music, it's more relatable. But I'm excited about it. Now the funny thing I'll show you probably when we get off. I released a song called First Class, one of the first singles, because I'm releasing singles every 2 weeks leading up to it. And in First Class, I had my bro Philly Flyboy shot it, and I had some people, White Rhino VFX, they're from San Antonio. They edited my old school Cadillac drop to I'm flying around on a cloud. So it's just crazy we just talking about that shit, but super dope, man.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you release this, is that the beginning of a tour?
Right now, hopefully. I mean, man, believe it or not, even if we've been in the game for as long as we do, we still be nervous and don't really know what comes about. You never know what record, like when I released the album, you never know what record people gonna take to. We don't know if we're gonna take off or if you gotta build it up. But realistically, the goal is when it comes out to get ready to get on the road. That's one thing I love. My two main things, or three, is my kids, the music, and just helping people, man. So like those are three things that excite me. But other than that, I venture off and just try everything. I feel like you get zero results if you don't try it.
Well, that's a beautiful philosophy, the way you balance it all out. That's a good thing, because a lot of us can get caught up in maybe one thing too much. That just to have this idea of like your family, your job, everything. Everything deserves equal attention.
Yeah, and man, it's with life. Like I just be so realistic with everything, man, because we all have our good days, we all have our bad days, we all mess up time to time, and for me, it's just how we bounce back. And even with some of the hiccups I had within the last year or two, it's all learning experiences. But I feel like even with this album, the reason I named it Stuck in Motion was rather than me be dwelling on shit that I could have done different or shit I could have done better, or to be just held back or sad or just trying to, a lot of times we complain about a bunch of shit, and I feel like I'm at a point in my life now, it's like, man, you just got to accept stuff for what it is. So the reason I named it Stuck in Motion is regardless of what I'm going through, I'm still moving. I'm going to keep it moving, whichever direction I'm aimed at, that's where I'm going. So I'm stuck in motion. That was the purpose of it, man.
That's a good name for it.
Yeah.
So when you say you never know like how it's going to be received, but is this your favorite?
I think it's going to be an important one in my catalog because I'm from the streets, so most of my music is always going to be that. This album is more just good vibe. I think it's more growth and more universal, where you could just, for those who smoke, you can put it on and just light your blunt up, or you just get in your car and ride. So for me, it's important because I just feel like it's an album of growth. I'm just showing I'm unbothered, I'm living life, I'm enjoying life. And, a lot of people don't really understand, man. It's not just about money to enjoy life. It's what different things you have that bring peace to you. So I just think I'm at a point in life where I'm just enjoying life, and that's why I think it's gonna be so important for me. And what I'm doing with it also that's gonna make it different is, I don't know if you've seen, they say you can put out, like I'm shooting a video for every song, but in between the songs I want to do little short movie skits, so it'll be like from a start to a finish, like a whole project, whether I'm put it on Amazon or something like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to think of just different creative shit with this.
I like that. I like that idea. Yeah. just tie it in together, make a movie out of it.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
I got a movie coming too, but this is just gonna be focused on the music, you know, because you have different people, man. For me, you have different fans from different things, and music wise, I want to make sure I set that one apart. But it's definitely exciting. One of my bros, he one of the main DJs out of Houston, you know, that kind of can shift the culture, DJ Mr. Rogers. I had him executive producer, you know, just from a musical standpoint to find records that he think people would take to, you know, which at the end of the day, we chose all the records I did, so it worked out. But that putting all the visuals together to make it dope. And what I'm going to do too, that's going to be creative. So when I was talking about the movie part, I'm going to actually get actors for different roles, you know, so it'll just be something bigger than me just going stand on the corner and have one of my homeboys talking to me.
That's a great idea. Are you gonna write it out? Like, are you gonna write it out after the music? Like, the music's done, right?
Right.
So, are you now thinking about like how you're gonna put together a movie that ties in with all the songs?
So, right now, I guess the way that I'm really envisioning it is, each part I just create different scenarios. So at that point, you don't really make it as I have to really write it out. You know what I'm saying? Just in between each skit, what scenario it may be. It may be me in the mirror having a conversation with myself, but the reflection of the mirror may be a whole nother actor that's, you know, good guy, bad guy. So you just create different scenarios, and then I just figure out how to tie it in. But for the most part, it's just simple. I don't think it'll take too much. I'm just excited to be doing it. Like, I leave. It's so crazy when I was just telling you also that I have so many different people that support me in different ways. So when I leave here today, I fly to LA for the BMAC Awards, and they giving me the Change Agent Award. Speaking of awards, I'm not sure if you know, I got probably every award you could think of, from anything you think of, from helping, fighting, whatever the situation may be, man. And that's a blessing. Like, I'm at a point now, I'll be like, man, you ain't got to give me an award. I'm going to do the work regardless. But
it's nice to be recognized.
Yeah, and you don't want to kind of go against God's blessings, because if he feel like, hey, I want you to be recognized for that, who am I to say, like, I don't need that shit, like, I can't do that. You know?
No, that's beautiful. You said you were doing another movie?
So the movie's done. It's called Soul, and it's a crazy story. My guy Philly Flyboy and Richie Rich out of Houston, they were just getting people to send in scripts, and they found one that they like. It's Soul. It's about a shoe store, but my father went to jail. He was a hustler. I ended up coming across some money, and I got a shoe store. But when my father went to jail, he had $2 million that was unaccounted for, shall we say. And so the whole movie, it's a comedy, but everybody trying to get at me and get to me and harm me to try and figure out where the money is. But it's more on some funny stuff, man. Like I said, I'm at a point now, I'm just trying different stuff. Like, so that's going to be dope. And it actually come out any day on Tubi. I don't really understand the process of it, because I thought they'd give me a time and a date where I could promote it, but they just like, you never know when it'll pop up. When it pop up, you just get to promoting it. But doing that, the reason, what I was getting to, what I was going to tell you, I'm at a point of having fun. So what I also did with one of the videos on Stuck in Motion, a song called Reconsider, I went and got the original Ninja Turtles. I got Batman, Deadpool, Lightning McQueen. So in that video, I'm an actual superhero in that video. So I'm just trying different stuff, just having fun and just living life at this point, man.
That's beautiful. Just being creative, having a good time.
Definitely, man. But yeah, the music, that's my go-to. You know, either that or just getting out the house. I don't know why I be overexcited when I help people, man. Just to see the fact of them knowing they not by themselves, and the fact of them knowing somebody actually care, that kind of give me my excitement too, you know.
That's beautiful. That's excitement we all should be seeking, right?
Yeah.
You know, and you're helping people. It's nice. It feels good.
Definitely does, man.
And you dedicate a lot of time to it. And
Yeah.
you should be rewarded for that. It's beautiful.
But you never really do it for the
Of
reward
course,
side.
of course.
Well,
Well, your rewards are spiritual, emotional, what you get from people.
and different blessings come.
Yeah.
Man, when I tell you, just my career alone, I done been through a lot of shit, and I done had decades of bumping my head, and then you may have the whole world turn against you, then you have to just keep pushing. It's like I deal with so much different stuff, but that's one thing I don't stop doing, and every time my blessings get bigger and bigger, which I honestly think God put me through some of these processes because I feel like for me to go to the next level, he have to see if I'm really ready. So even now, like one of my biggest things that's hard for me now is to imagine just not reacting to people, like, because I'm one of the people you definitely can get under my skin. Like imagine you at a UFC and somebody you walk by and somebody like, oh, fuck you, Joe. You see, like think about it now. You can do one or two things. You can ignore it, or you can be like, man, hold on, you got me fucked up. So dealing with phases of getting through, that's all part of growth for what he got planned for me in the future, man. And that's definitely a process of dealing.
Yeah, that's a part of the thing that comes with fame, right? There's going to be a certain bunch of people that get mad at you.
Yeah, definitely.
For whatever reason, whether it's valid or not.
Yeah, and I think, man, the hard part is dealing with it, because you have to deal with it. But the reality of it is, man, sometimes you gotta get to a point. They're gonna think what they want to think, regardless, man.
Yes.
And you gotta just keep it moving. Even if they direct opinion or they direct thought may not necessarily be true, or it could be partially true. It may not even be. It could be 5% true, but at the end of the day, it's like you can't even really waste your time just over-explaining it, because it's still going to be somebody out there that don't want to hear it.
You're going to be interacting with too many people. That's the problem. You can't be considering all the opinions of all these different people. At a certain point in time, you got to let that go. And if people are critical or they're shitty or mean to you, I don't have any time. You got no time.
But see, that's the growth part, because is not.
You got to learn that, right?
That shit is not easy at all.
Not easy. It's not easy to not read the comments. But for your mental health, you really should. Because, and also, like, there's a lot of accounts online that aren't real people.
Wow.
There's
Trolls.
a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot, man. That's one of the things that I do on X. I'll go in a controversial subject, like, whatever it is, climate change or whatever the fuck it is. And I'll just go reading into the comments and see, how people, and you'll find these outrageous comments. And you're like, what is this? And you click on, it's just a bunch of letters and a few numbers for the name. And then you click on it and you're like, oh, this is a fake account. This is an account that just retweets things and says outrageous shit and just provokes people fighting with each other. And you're like, how many of those are out there, man?
A lot. Definitely a lot. You ever? It'd be to the point now, but I take the time to block all the people that be like, I gained this fortune from here, or some of that shit be like, man, it's too much. Like it'd be damn near 30 of them comments about how to get some money, and it'd be like, nah.
My favorite are the ones that are pretending to be girls looking for a boyfriend.
Yeah. I get them a lot too, man.
Because it's like, who's falling for that?
Yeah.
I need a boyfriend. And you click on it. You're like, what? You need a boyfriend? Yeah. Well, I need a girlfriend.
Then they have 2 followers on there. Maybe not even that. Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know who the fuck take time to create that shit every day, man.
I don't know what the scam is. What's the scam, Jamie, on those? Like, if you got I'm looking for a boyfriend, or I'm looking for something hot and hard.
Those I don't know.
But
how the fuck do they even find our pages?
Well, I think when you get a page that has a lot of people on it, they just glom onto it, and every time you post, they post immediately. They probably have some sort of a computer program. Right? Does that make sense?
Yep.
It has to be like that, right? Because they post so many. I'll get like the first second, there'll be 30 of them.
It ramped up the minute that they made it available to use the computer to like comment and look at stuff.
That shit is
It's
crazy,
hilarious.
man.
But they were around before, dude. I used to get
Yeah,
them.
no, I said they ramped up though. It's
They ramped up. Yeah. It's a crazy thing, man. They just, I don't know what they're doing. How are they making money?
I'm reading through an article right now to see if they got anywhere. Someone investigated this.
So when you click on those things, I've never clicked on one. What does it take you to? Like if you click on theirs, is it like a OnlyFans page or what is it?
I'm reading, so like this is at first these bots would try to lure people that says, like we're going to ignore the fact that I've got a huge booty or don't look at my story if you want to MASTURBATE.
Oh shit! I'm not supposed to be cussing on here.
No,
can
that's
cuss.
how they wrote it.
That's how they
it's
wrote
spelled
it.
out all weird like
You're
that.
hilarious.
I want to say this shit. My
Trae,
bad,
I've been
man.
swearing the entire time. That's hilarious.
But when he read it,
Oh.
spelling it, I was
Like a
yeah,
teacher.
Yeah.
How are they
Whether-
making money?
It says that whether it be porn or pyramid schemes, these accounts are not trying to sell. Are trying to sell this. I don't know. It could just be like the way that porn ads would just get you caught in a weird click farm. You're just caught in a click hole of all these ads popping up.
Oh,
It could just be baiting you for falling into those
just
websites.
for clicks.
Yeah.
Oh
I
man.
don't think that they're actually trying to get you to buy something.
Internet scams.
Speaking of that, have you ever? I've yet to figure out how when you randomly thinking about something on Instagram or say something, and all the ads just start popping up for that shit.
Yeah, people want to deny that's real.
I definitely know it's real.
That
I
seems
don't,
very real.
but it's either one, they either listening to what we doing, but sometimes what if you just thinking and you just start seeing the shit, so it's still weird.
I've never had that happen.
Yeah.
No,
Man,
I've never
remember-
been thinking about it, and then it just pops up.
I literally can be.
You've had it, Jimmy?
Yeah, I literally be thinking about it. May be clothes or anything, and then it just randomly just. I don't understand that shit, man.
You've had that, Jamie?
Mm-hmm.
Really? On
It's a
what?
weird thing. You could probably. You should test it this week somehow. Don't use your phone to look. Think of a random product. Maybe talk to someone about it. I know you can't just think about something random and it's going to show up. I don't mean it that drastically, but don't Google search anything. Try to think of something super random, and you'll start getting ads for it.
Is this evidence of the Matrix? Like, what is this?
I don't know, but
If you
that
start
shit,
thinking about it, and then you get it on your phone?
that shit is, and then so I have to think back to think that I even say something to somebody or did I click on something.
Right.
But honestly, just with it being a thought in my brain, and then the shit just, it don't be one ad, it be multiple ads popping up.
Makes me
And
think
sometimes
the
it make
thoughts
me fall into buying shit
Yeah,
off the
I agree with that. I just think
Yeah.
that those thoughts, it knows what you've been listening to and watching, and that you're eventually going to think of this kind of thing. I kind of think that's what it is. It's just like deduction.
Man, the internet dangerous.
Fuck, that's crazy. It plays us. I buy more shit on Amazon that I probably wouldn't buy just because you can. Just click,
Yeah.
click, click. I haven't bought toothpaste in a store in forever. Just click. One click, it's on its way. Yay. I don't have to think.
Yeah, man. The internet definitely something different, man.
Yeah. Just wait until you just 3D print things in your house. That's going to happen too.
What you mean?
People are going to have like supplies of materials. They'll have like silicone and metals and all these different things. And they're going to be able to 3D print things. Because right now they can 3D print a lot of shit. They can make, all sorts of they can make guns. They can 3D print guns. They can 3D print a lot of stuff. They can 3D print houses. They 3D print like sections of houses, and then they stack them all together and build a house with it. And if you had a 3D printer in your home and you had all these materials, like for at least some things, I would imagine you'd be able to 3D print objects in your house now. Instead of buying them, you just like buy the plans or buy like a license to print it.
But that print shit may cost an arm and a leg.
Initially, it probably will. Yeah, it probably always will. It's pretty complicated, but the idea of like going somewhere and getting a thing, it's probably going to be less and less. You'll probably be making the thing in your house when these things get more sophisticated. That's just a guess, though. Is that possible? Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I still have wondered to what extent. Because most of the stuff I see people 3D printing, it's a bunch of it's mostly junk.
Right.
It's just like trinkets and plastic and things that you don't need. Could you make a knife, Could you make an awesome knife that a blacksmith couldn't make that way?
I don't think you could. You can make car parts, though. I know they 3D print car parts.
Like metal like a new.
I don't know what they can
strange
3D
size
print. Can they
nut or something like
3D
that.
print metal?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking like there's a copper at least. I don't know how like once you 3D print something, there's still a process you have to do to make it look good and pretty usable. You have to dunk it in some sort of water solution. I don't know what you do with the metal.
You know, that's what Bob Lazar thinks that spaceship that he worked on was made with. He thinks it was somehow 3D printed because it has no seams. You paying attention to this UFO shit? No? Good for you.
No, but I know you do, so I'm gonna ask because it's like the shit just there's so much shit that's just coming out now. I don't understand what's the motive behind it just randomly coming out now.
Yeah, I'm super suspicious.
So what's the place? Area
51?
Area 51.
Yeah.
Like I'm assuming that shit has been real.
That's real. Yeah. But Area 51 was used for all sorts of training purposes. They had all sorts of programs that were running out there. I think that's where they developed the B-52. Is that where they developed it, in Area 51? They developed a bunch of different military technologies out there.
So nothing was true about the.
We don't know. We don't know. It's all just guessing about whether or not they were working on UFOs. But they were definitely working on other stuff too. It's a legitimate military base.
So you think these videos real? That's coming out, or you think it's?
I think the videos are real. What they're filming, I don't know what that is. It could be that it's some super sophisticated U.S. controlled drone that was built in some sort of program that's top secret, and it has some new super sophisticated propulsion system that they don't want us to know about. And so they pretend it's coming from another world. And they say, oh, these are off-world crafts exhibiting behavior that's impossible to replicate in America. I wonder. Because if they're talking about it like that, they're literally saying off-world, like, boy, I get suspicious. I get suspicious because they're not super honest about anything.
No,
why would they be honest about spaceships?
Then it just randomly happens now. You know?
Yeah, it's another nice distraction. It gets people all excited. Yeah, the fucking fake little Mexican UFO baby.
They're doubling down.
No, they're not.
They took it. This is from the MRI yesterday. They said it's one skeleton.
Where did they find that at?
Like they're trying. Other like American scientists are saying, well, then let people test samples of it or something. But
did they have images from the MRI?
I mean, I don't know that they showed those actual images, but the doctor that took it, he said right here, they belong to a single skeleton that has not been joined to other pieces.
Interesting. Footage from the team carrying out the tests shows one of the bodies bearing an elongated head, a small upturned nose, and two slanted eyes. The subjects look tiny when held up by the doctors examining the watching journalists. Huh.
Then this also is like this person says that I think it's the doctor has claimed that he talks to the Virgin of Guadalupe, and the extraterrestrials will not talk to her like they talk to him because she doesn't believe in them.
Maybe he does drugs. Maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe he did talk to the Virgin of Guadalupe. So that's what it's supposed to be? I want to see what those images look like. They don't have them?
You ever notice how none of the images be clear?
Yeah.
On shit like
real
that
problem.
we really want to see?
Yeah, it's a real problem. I talked to this one guy, Christopher Mellon. He used to be an intelligence agent, and he said that they do have clear footage. It just hasn't been leaked, but that he's aware of it, and some of it is pretty mind-blowing, he said.
Damn.
Show me. Until I see it. I don't know, man. I feel like a dummy because I want to believe in it so bad. That's the problem. Because it's so fun. You know, the idea of spaceships coming here from another galaxy. That's amazing.
I don't know how fun, especially if they ain't friendly.
Well, if they weren't friendly, we'd already be fucked, right? I mean, if they've been coming here forever, supposedly, and they haven't hurt us yet, we're probably okay. You know? I think they're probably observing us. They're probably, if they are coming from another world, they're probably making sure we don't blow ourselves up. They're probably realizing that we're at this convergence of the evolution of the biology and then science and technology and its abilities that far surpass like the speed that the biology evolves. Like the biology evolves very slowly relatively compared to these computers the things that they're able to do, these spaceships and the flying cars. And it's like we have so much ability now, and we're still the same kind of creature. We're still humans, you know, but now we have this insane ability to blow up a whole country. Like we have nuclear bombs. We're all pointing them at each other, and there's enough to wipe out the whole world. Like if I was an alien, I'd be like, let's keep an eye on these crazy fucks. You know, these people are wild. Let's keep an eye on them.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm gonna keep my distance from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to fly to Mars. I don't want to do none of that shit. I just, man, live my life.
Yeah. It's going to be a long time before people get comfortable moving to Mars.
Yeah.
I don't know how long that's going to be, but that's a fucking commitment.
Didn't they have somebody recently go? Are they letting people go now?
No, they haven't let people go yet. They've sent drones. So they have the Mars rover that goes around on Mars, but that's just a robot. But the idea is to have people on Mars. I think, didn't Elon say by like 2035 or something like that, he wants man trip to Mars?
That's crazy. You keep saying his name. He's the only, he doing whatever the fuck he want to do at this point. Yeah.
He's a wild fella. It's a crazy thing to do.
Definitely is. Might wake up some shit we don't need to wake up.
Elon Musk SpaceX COO said manned mission will reach Mars by 2030. NASA says otherwise. Well,
Yeah.
it's probably somewhere in the middle because like most of these things take longer than you think they're going to take. Like even as cars, like they thought that Cybertruck was already going to be out, and then there was that Roadster. Like where's that fucking thing?
Yeah.
You know, those things take a long ass time to develop.
'Cause
Even
you
if
gotta
you
get
have
all the kinks out. You gotta make sure, because he's gonna be responsible for people going over there if they can't actually be there or live there. He's gonna be responsible for a bunch of people.
Dude, you got like a whole city in Mars and the air breaks.
I don't like that he said you can only go twice a year. This only like the trip can only happen on like 2 days out of the year or 2 windows. You have to wait 6 months if you missed the window.
So what if the window like a storm rolls through?
But 6 months.
Oh
I
my
don't know,
god!
I guess.
Oh my god,
See.
bro!
Yeah, a bunch of money gonna be wasted.
Not just money. It's just scary. The idea of being on a 6-month journey to another planet—that's how long it takes to get there.
Oh, that's how long it take to get. I thought you were saying he only go up.
Yeah, there's a window of 6 months, but that's how long it takes. Doesn't it take 6 months to get there?
Oh fuck no! I for sure would never.
It took the Apollo mission 2 weeks to get to Moon.
Could even be 7 months.
So that might be 7 months.
Yeah, I
7
can't.
months in a spaceship.
Traveling at 24,600 miles an hour.
Yeah.
What does that feel like? You probably don't even notice it. You probably look out the window and you don't see shit. Like, are we there yet?
I'm just saying, the food, everything would be horrible. Fuck no.
Horrible.
Fuck no, I can't.
Yeah, there's going to be no barbecue. If
Yeah.
you're flying, how many thousands of miles an hour?
Almost 25,000.
Almost 25,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, I can't.
What does that feel like?
Very uncomfortable.
And knowing you can't turn around. Like, you can't, like, take a month in and go, you know what, guys? I'm going to pull over at this rest stop, and I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, but not only that, everybody revolves around phones and the internet.
Mm-hmm.
No, it ain't gonna be that shit up there.
Yeah, you will have no idea what's going on Earth. They must have some communication, right?
I'd imagine the Starlink is going to go with it, but what if it doesn't work? I don't know. Have they have they been able to go test it?
Bro.
Test the speeds?
Imagine being
Report back.
first dude to try to touch down on Mars. Oh, my God. But there's going to be people that do it. Just like there's people that go to Everest. There's people that want to climb K2. There's going to be people that do it, no matter what it is.
I just won't be one of them, brother.
I definitely won't be one of the first. I'm definitely not going to do that 6-month thing. Fuck that. You only live 100 years. You're going to take a half of a year to go to the other planet that sucks?
Is there people going to the moon already?
Well,
say, yeah.
the Apollo
They're going back.
astronauts.
This thing says they're going back. That article I pulled up about NASA said they have a plan to go back to the moon 2025.
Oh.
The south pole of the moon.
Oh, wow. That'd be interesting. Wonder if it looks better than the original footage.
These
Wonder
days,
if
they
it's the
better
same.
have good cameras. They got everything else.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting if they pull that off. Well, that will crush the moon hoax deniers. But I don't know.
You say the hoax? What you mean?
Yeah, the people that think that we never went to the moon.
Ah,
That's a fun one. That's a fun
well, we
one.
did though.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, but there's people that believe it was a hoax. And if you go down that rabbit hole online, whew,
YouTube. I can't. I
Goes
hate
deep.
YouTube holes, man, because I'll be in that shit for hours and
Yeah.
people
Hours.
forgot the original shit I was looking up. So
yeah, YouTube holes,
definitely.
especially with something like that, they'll take you down a dark, dark road, and you start thinking, I don't think we went to the moon.
They definitely will. They gotta wear brainwashing.
Well, there's so many conspiracy theories you can get into. You know, if you just don't care and you just want to go on a rabbit hole, there's so many rabbit holes to go down. The Rockefellers, there's like so many rabbit holes that you can go down.
Yeah.
You know, engineering of America, like, oh, Jesus. You don't want to think about it.
And they take their time to put them. They make it believable what they saying.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to know. So, when you've been watching the UFC for a long time, do you train at all? Do you do any jiu-jitsu or?
Man, believe it or not, I did. It was a long time ago. They were gonna do where you switch from a rapper to a UFC fighter, and I'll never forget. I did the training. I was in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And,
At Jackson Winkle?
I don't know the exact place. Who was the Damn, is that where Sanchez used to train? I forgot.
Diego?
Which,
Yeah.
So wherever that gym was.
Yeah, Greg Jackson's.
and,
Jackson Winkle, John.
Trained the whole day, and by the end, I was throwing up in the middle of the ring. And when I did, they told me, "Okay, now you officially had a good workout." And I was like, "Fuck this shit, I never." But then, so that's when I was learning about the leg part, right? So they had like these bamboo sticks, kinda. It's like some kind of sticks, and they would just
Tap their legs.
tap my shin, and they were like,
Yeah.
"This is what you do to start hardening." I was like, "Yeah, I'm good on all that, man." And only other time is with Derek. You know, I go mess around and play with him at the gym, but that's it, man. That's a lot of work. I'm not down with throwing up every time I work out.
But you look like fit and strong, so you must be doing some kind of working out.
Yeah, I work out here and there, which I feel I've been slacking lately because I've been so focused on just filming and getting ready for this album, man. But yeah, definitely, I like to work out. I don't like to do I always said I wanted to learn the submission side of stuff because, man, you know, you can watch some people that you get ready to fight and they'll just drop to the ground and they hope that they can get you there.
Yeah.
And whether it may be to break something or whether it may be to put you to sleep. So I always been curious to figure that out. Definitely. But that workout's a little intense, man.
Yeah, but it'll start off, like if you go to a beginner's class, it'll be fun.
How long you been doing
You'll
it?
enjoy it. I started doing it in seriously in 98.
Oh.
Yeah, I took a couple of classes before that, but not much. And then I did like a little bit at Carlson Gracie's. But then in 98, I joined John Jacques Machado's, and that's when I really started training.
Never
That's when I
really
got
did it to
serious.
fight, just to train.
Just to train. I was already 30. It's like, I don't need to be getting my ass kicked. I'm busy doing other shit. When you see the sacrifice that fighters put in and what it does to their body and, you know, the amount of attention that they have to put to their craft, it's you don't dabble in that. I don't want to dabble in that. Like what they're doing, I wouldn't, you know. What they did, what you're doing with a professional fighter, you're taking like one of the riskiest paths in all of life. You're going to gamble your body and the function of your body to make your living, and the function of your body while you're going against other trained killers and just throwing bones at each other, slamming shins and elbows into heads and strangling people and taking arm bars and like, whoa.
So
leg
probably
locks.
what would be the average age? Anywhere from 25 to 35 maybe?
For pro fighters?
Yeah.
You got Raul Rosas Jr., who is like 18 years old.
Yeah, of
He's
course.
the youngest guy.
And
yeah.
you know he good too, but
He's really good. He's got a massive potential. you're getting like a lot of pretty good guys in their early 20s now, which is interesting because in the early days, it took guys a while to like put all the pieces together. They didn't, they maybe started as a wrestler and then they learned how to strike, or they started as a striker and they learned how to wrestle. You're seeing these kids coming up that are 20 years old that are like proficient in everything. Submissions, kickboxing, they put it all together beautifully. They're trained in MMA from a very young age instead of adapting a previous skill set like boxing or wrestling to MMA. They're learning the whole thing from the jump. And I think those guys have a giant advantage. And they're also like every generation. There's always going to be the greats, right? You're always going to have your Mike Tysons, your Michael Jordans. You're always going to have your greats. But every generation seems to develop more and more high-level athletes in every sport. And in MMA, that's, no different. It's maybe even more prevalent in MMA. It's exploding now. So you're seeing like Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series.
Yeah.
You'll see guys on that show that are just straight up killers. And you're like, this guy is an absolute UFC caliber fighter, and they're fighting to get a shot on the show. So these guys that are coming up are already really good. Really good.
So, yeah, I watch. One thing I came to understand, man, like I would watch. Like even now, I go support all fight. Like I go do the Fury fighting in Houston and other things. But you watch some fighters go from there to the UFC, and I don't think people really understand how qualified the UFC. It's a different type of monster. It's just as if somebody coming from college that jump into the pros. Like they really good at what they do, and that shit count.
Yeah, it counts. It's at the top of the heap, there's guys in the UFC that aren't like any organization ever at the top of the heap. But there's some other organizations right now, like Bellator has some really good fighters, and ONE FC has some really good fighters. There's guys that are like commensurate that they could probably get to the UFC.
But when they come, it's still hard for them, though.
It's hard. It's hard for everybody in the UFC. I mean, look at we were talking about Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje.
Yeah,
those guys are the top cream of the crop. And when they go at it like that, one guy could get cracked, and that's what we saw.
Yeah.
And that's how good they are. I mean, at that level, that's really, one guy can win, one guy can lose. It's like they're that good. Like almost anything can happen. That's why that next fight between Oliveira and Islam Makhachev is very interesting. Because Islam got him in the first fight and submitted him, and Oliveira is like hell-bent on getting that title back. And I want to see.
Yeah, he good. You can't take nothing from him.
Bro, Oliveira's a beast. Yeah, he's a beast. And I think watching him struggle with Volkanovski, he won that decision, but it was a very close fight where a lot of people thought he was going to roll him over and smash him because he was so much bigger. Probably gave a lot of people some ideas that, he's vulnerable. He's not completely invincible like he's looked in all of his fights. He's human.
Yeah.
So maybe Oliveira will have more confidence coming into this fight. Who knows? But it's an exciting fight. Islam's a beast.
Yeah, he definitely. I mean, look at the camp he came from. So,
yeah, that's a crazy camp.
Yeah.
And they're so filled with elite, high-level grappling. Those guys are just killers on the ground, and a bunch of them are like great at stand-up too. A bunch of them are like killer strikers too.
Yeah, definitely, man. I was excited for John Jones to come back too. It's one of my brothers, man. He's definitely his legacy is already marked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he became the heavyweight champion. He went light heavyweight to heavyweight, and if he defends it, my hope. This is my hope. Francis Ngannou has this big payday, fights Tyson Fury,
right,
and then the UFC coaxes him back to fight John Jones. That's my hope.
And
I don't know if it's
John
possible.
is ready. I mean, they both my homies, but John wanted that one.
That's the one. That's the one. That's the
but
former.
I thought he's not with UFC anymore.
Well, he's not with UFC right now because he's going to fight Tyson Fury. But I don't know if he signed a contract with someone else. I don't know what happened. I don't know what the deal is. Or if maybe they could give him a one-fight exemption away from that contract to fight John Jones in the UFC. But they probably wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But that's the fight you want to see, though. You want to see the guy who was the heavyweight champion, who relinquished the crown, come back and fight the guy who won it in his absence. That's the perfect fight to see what, and it's also. It's the perfect fight skillfully too, because you see, like as skillful John is and as dangerous as Francis is.
Yeah, France is definitely super dangerous with his hands.
With everything.
But people have to understand, John have hands, but John has a little bit of little bit of everything too, man.
John's got everything.
Yeah.
But Francis is as big a heavyweight as there is, and as scary a striker in the heavyweight division as there is.
Yeah.
I would be very curious to see how that fight goes down. I think it would be very interesting, and I really wish they could pull that off, because I think that's a legacy fight. And if John retires after that, and if he wins, oh my God, he goes down as the all-time great.
Yeah, got to. I don't know why people don't always give him his flowers as the all-time great, because he definitely is that. I mean, you know.
I think kind of everybody does now after he won the heavyweight title. If you look at his accomplishments, never really lost. He really lost that one fight by disqualification. That's it. Every other fight he's won.
Mm-hmm.
And he's fought against the highest level competition from the time he was 21 years old, 22 years old. It's incredible.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to deny. And, he beat really good guys. He beat guys that, that were in their prime. John was something special, and still is. That would be the big fight. But I'm interested to see him fight Stipe, too. Stipe's been out for a long time, and he's coming back to try to reclaim the title. That's interesting, too.
Not to discredit him, but I'm not sure if he gonna. John ain't no easy.
No, he's not easy.
At all.
Well, I think for sure it'll be John will be the favorite in that fight, the betting favorite. But Stipe's the most decorated heavyweight of all time. He defended the title more than anybody. He beat so many good people, former champions, Junior Dos Santos, Fabricio Verdum. He knocked him out to win the title. I mean, he's a monster. He's really good. Yeah. And, he's had time to relax and recover. After that Francis knockout, you want someone to, really recover from something like that. That was a rough one.
Yeah. See how this goes, buddy.
See how it goes.
Yeah,
it's exciting, though, right?
Definitely, man. Definitely. So I say the power of Francis, even against Tyson, definitely, Fury is definitely that's going to count. But, I just don't know how it's going to be with them. Because when you always watch these two worlds collide, it's a little different. So.
Well, Tyson Fury is one of the greatest boxers of all time.
Yeah, you got to give him his credit.
He's amazing. And Francis can punch really hard, and he can box, but can he box with Tyson Fury?
Right, that's why I say it's just, I don't know, something about it just different.
Well, it's going to be interesting. I'm interested to see how it plays out. I'm definitely curious to see what approach Francis takes, what approach Tyson Fury takes, how they handle it. I'm interested.
Well, I think the other thing that's going to be a factor is if Francis' chin is strong enough. That's going to be the thing, because I'm pretty. He can box, period, but you got to be able to take it.
Yeah, well, Fury can crack you with punches you don't see coming too. He's sneaky with uppercuts and hooks, and he's very clever. He's so good with his feet. His footwork is so good, and he's so long.
Yeah.
And, he doesn't have to hit you with the haymakers right off the bat. He'll just start popping you with the jab. Popping you, moving, sticking you. Yeah. It's going to be very interesting. I'm curious to see with, Mike Tyson is training Francis.
Yeah.
That's interesting, too.
I always love to see. Shout out Tyson. That's my brother, man. I always love to see him work. He's still, even if you watch him, whether it's just him training, he's still exciting just to watch him, man.
No, he's awesome.
Yeah.
And his style of just charging forward and switching stances and ripping to the body and ripping to the head, if he can get Francis involved in that style, it'd be very interesting to see what Francis does. If you watch them training together, it's pretty exciting.
Is he quick? Is he, in that standpoint, is he quick like how Tyson is?
It's hard to say. He's not as quick as Tyson. Tyson was a lot smaller. We got to realize when Tyson was in his prime, he was 220. But he was so fast. Just bobbing and weaving and moving in.
Hard.
Oh, my God. And fast. Hard and fast. It wasn't just hard. It was hard and you couldn't get away from it. You couldn't block it. He would just come flying in at people. And Francis is not as fast as that, but he's a lot bigger. Francis is a natural 265. He used to have to lose weight to make the 265-pound heavyweight weight class.
So they got a cap on
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? It's 265.
anything over that. You just
Yeah, it's a super heavyweight. And super heavyweight division has never really been established.
I don't think who do we got this super
Nobody.
heavy?
Nobody. We don't have a super heavyweight division in the UFC. But it does exist. That's why there's a...
So it can be done.
Yeah, it can be done. But that's why there's a 265-pound weight limit, which is kind of... seems kind of silly.
I'm curious to see what a super heavyweight will look like.
There's probably not that many of them because there's a small amount of heavyweights. If you think about the size of the UFC roster in the heavyweight division, it's so much smaller than the middleweight or the welterweight or the lightweight. Heavyweight's a very small division because there's not that many really skilled big men at the top of the heap. It's hard, man. And I think a lot of the elite athletes that are that big, they go into NFL, go into NBA, go in somewhere else and make money.
Yeah.
Don't get your, you got to want to do that. Like MMA can't be like, maybe I'll try that. It's got to be like, if you're going to compete with those guys, it's got to be something you want to do.
And then you got to find a competition. Shit, if it's only two of y'all in that league at this point, you know what I'm saying?
What do you think about Charlo and Canelo? That's exciting, isn't it?
Man, definitely. Charlo from the town. So, one thing about Houston, we always going to support Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is definitely going to be a big look for him, man. Canelo definitely, he still, if he not still sitting in his prime, he's just on the outskirts of leaving it. So, but he can't think that Charlo don't hit hard. You know what I'm saying?
Charlo hits hard.
Yeah, he got to know that. So it's definitely gonna be interesting. Just of course, we're gonna root for our town regardless, man. But definitely, it's gonna be a big fight.
It's such a wild move for Charlo too to jump up 2 weight classes.
I didn't know he jumped to a 2-weight class.
Yeah, wasn't he junior middleweight, and this is at 168? Isn't that correct?
But that's only like how many pounds? Maybe
12.
Okay.
Super middleweight. That's what this fight is, right?
Yeah.
And what is he the champion at? Isn't he the champion at junior middleweight? I believe so. But you got to remember, Canelo started out that light too, and went all the way up to win the light heavyweight.
Yeah, it says the Iron Man is stepping up 2 weight divisions to have his chance at adding the super middleweight crown to his undisputed super welterweight champion.
Yeah. Super welterweight or junior middleweight, same thing, depending on which organizing body.
Yeah, the fight world has been exciting, definitely, man.
Yeah. Do you follow all boxing?
For the most part, I mean, the crazy thing, man, I be so overwhelmed with life. I barely get to watch TV, but in the process, I be trying to catch a lot. But who you finna bring up, or what you thinking?
Terrence Crawford.
Yeah, man. So Terrence, the homie, Errol is like my brother too, and me and Terrence. I just seen Terrence probably like 2-3 days ago, and man, that was
virtuoso.
A fight. Yeah,
virtuoso performance.
The thing is, you can't discredit Crawford at all.
No.
I don't think people really gave him his credit, but for me, like I told him, just from just a homeboy standpoint, as far as him and Earl is, I just appreciate how he handled it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that was solid the way he handled it. And it's just because he could have went about it a different way. And then you got to realize, man, the internet and fans can make stuff way more cruel. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then the fact that they got action to run it back. I think in any situation, everybody learn from what mistakes. Everybody learn from what moves you made to start trying to sharpen it up for the next one. But
It'll be interesting to see if Earl can make an adjustment. Very interesting.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
man, Terrence is good.
Yeah, he definitely.
He has that magical ability to switch hands. His switching of stances is something that it was hilarious because when I had him on the podcast, He was telling me his coach was telling him, stop fucking around. Stop fucking around, switch his stances. And he's like, no, man, I'm going to figure this out. And he figured it out. And now he's the best switch hitter since Marvin Hagler. I mean, he's amazing at it. The way he's able to fucking just cut angles and throw just as hard from the left as he does from the right with equal proficiency. And he knows where to be at all times. He knows where you're going to be at all times. It's like, man, when you watch a guy that's that good at anything, but especially that good at something so dangerous as boxing, you really appreciate how hard it must be to get there.
Yeah, even looking at the wins, he got a nice amount of wins as far as with his undefeated record, man.
Yeah, but that one was the Errol Spence one was the big one.
Yeah.
That was the big one because that was the test. Like, is he as good as everybody thinks he is? And he's even better. He's even better.
Yeah.
I mean, in my book, he's an all-time great. Like, I would have loved to see him versus Sugar Ray Leonard. You know what I'm talking about? Like, in their prime.
In the primes, yeah.
In the primes, which is one of the most amazing things about boxing is that you get to think like that. You know, compare guys like Roberto Duran in his prime, you know?
Yeah, he was a monster too, man.
Yeah.
Man, but they even think back, all the heavyweights from back then was monsters.
Oh, yeah, man.
That was probably, back then, heavyweight probably was the ideal boxing size, you know. But now, of course, you know, you got so many different divisions.
Yeah.
But you got to think of just all of them from back then, man.
Oh, yeah. I watch old heavyweight fights sometimes. The other day I watched Ernie Shavers versus George Foreman. You ever see that?
Mm-mm.
Oh, my
And they big as hell.
They're so big, and they're both two of the biggest punchers that have ever fought in the heavyweight division. And those dudes just walloped on each other. It was a crazy fight.
One thing I can say about the heavyweights from back then, it definitely did some damage.
Let me see some of that, Jamie. That's the one to see.
Yeah, like it definitely does some real permanent damage to, like, they was really.
Oh, yeah.
I was just, man, if you look at some of the hits that Tyson put on people, you can't even imagine how they made it through it.
Yeah, they're probably never the same again, some of those knockouts.
Yeah.
Some of them. Like the Marvis Frazier one, that was a bad one. Did you find Ernie Shavers and George Foreman?
No, I'm only seeing videos that are video games.
Oh, really?
It says they never fought.
What? Who did George Foreman's last fight before he came back? It wasn't Ernie Shavers. Was it Kent?
Here's his last opponents.
You got to go way back to when he retired and came back. So before Dwight Muhammad Qawi, because I know that was at heavyweight, so keep going down. All right, so win, Joe Frazier, Scott Ledoux. Keep going up. Jimmy Young, loss of Jimmy Young. What year is that? 77. Keep going.
So there's a 10-year gap right there.
Yeah. All right, so who was the last one that he fought after he fought? Oh, Ron Lyle. That's what it was. He fought Ron Lyle. That's what it was. That was another guy that could fucking crack. That was a crazy fight. That's right.
Have you been in tune? I haven't really got to follow up on him, but Ali's family tree, how they been doing?
His family tree?
Yeah, as far as the nephews or the grandson that's boxing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's doing well. I think he's undefeated, right? Man, these are big fellas. George had such a unique style, too. Oh! Yeah, this is it.
Shit. Damn.
This is a crazy fight, man. Caesar's Palace outside Las Vegas.
Who won that fight?
I believe George won. I think he knocked him out in, I think it was like the 7th. But it was a war, man. He got dropped. He got rocked.
Stop the fight.
Bro, they didn't stop fights for nothing
know,
back
they did
then.
not fight back at all.
There it is. And they're going to count.
Old man was
They're going to count, bro. They're going to give him a count.
The
Look.
referee just waddled over. He's not.
Isn't it crazy? They would
my
have
God.
let him get up.
It's really crazy. He was out.
That's a crazy fight.
Them was some big dudes, though.
Yeah, that was his first fight, I think, after he lost to Ali.
Ali was something special.
Oh, man.
Ali was something special.
Yeah. And not just special.
And big. I didn't realize how big it was.
Yeah, not just special because of his abilities, but when the Vietnam War came out, he said, "I'm not going to fight
Yeah,
the
he
Vietnam
stood for
War.
something.
Like, for what? What am I doing? Why you want me fighting these Viet Cong people? I don't know them."
Yeah.
And everybody just, I mean, they stripped him of his title in his prime. He was at the very peak of his abilities. One of my favorite fights is right before they stripped him. He fought Cleveland Big Cat Williams. And Cleveland was like this big, muscular power puncher. And Ali just boxed this beautiful dance and just pieced him up. And see if I find that. It's one of my all-time favorite boxing performances. Because it's where you get to see Ali, before they stripped him of his title, then he came back. He was kind of a different fighter when he came back. But before they stripped him, he would box like a middleweight. But he was, a heavyweight, a big, tall dude.
Yep. His weave game was amazing, huh?
Against who? Sorry.
Cleveland Big Cat Williams. They robbed us of the real Ali, because during those 3 years where they'd stripped him of his title and he couldn't box, that was the years where he was still at his best, and he really didn't train during those years. So when he came back, he just wasn't the same guy. He was not the same. He didn't move like he moved when he was younger, and this is like him in his fucking prime. Just scoot your head a little, see some of this action. And Cleveland's a jacked dude. I mean, look at the muscles on Cleveland. And he's moving forward, and Ali's just boxing him up. I mean, what fucking heavyweight moved like this before him? Like, look at his footwork. I mean, imagine fighting a guy like that. They didn't exist before him. In the heavyweight division, man, look at him move. Still to this day, if you saw this guy and he was on HBO today, you'd be like, whoa, who is this new dude? Like, oh my God, what kind of movement? And you got to think, we're talking about the 1960s. I think this was 67. And there had been nothing like that before. What year was it, Jamie? Does it say?
Not there.
Doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure it's 67. Now, go a little further ahead so when he starts getting them. I mean, Cleveland just has to try to chase him down. And every time Ali would just stop and pop the jab. Look at that 1-2. 1-2 moving away. I mean, moving away. I mean, the fucking hand speed, the combinations, the volume. Look at that. He just stands over him with his hands raised. Amazing fight. I mean, come on. Come on.
They picked him up.
Bro, they picked him up and put him back on the stool. Like, you're going to get back out there, kid, and you're going to kill him. So he came back off the stool and boxed some more. They could have easily stopped that fight, right? They just didn't stop fights the same way back then. Today, they would look at this and go, that's enough. That's enough. But back then, they're like, 1, 2, 3. And they like go to the corner and he starts back again. 4, 5. I mean, this poor dude needs to be saved.
Yeah, he's still getting up trying to
have
run.
rules about recovery time. Either,
Oh,
then,
there were
right?
no rules, bro. You fight next weekend.
Damn.
They didn't care about people. They just, they wanted you to fight so they can make money. Look at that right hand. Oh my goodness. I mean, just playing with him. Look at that jab. I mean, he was just a complete, unique fighter. He moved like Sugar Ray Robinson, but he was a heavyweight. Ugh, the referee finally saves him. Finally. He could have stopped that fight a long
Shit
fucking
crazy.
time ago. They were different back then, the way they stopped fights.
Man, I think in any sports they was a lot more rougher back then.
Yeah, football certainly was.
Yeah, basketball,
Yeah,
a little bit of everything.
Everything
Yeah.
was. Yeah. Different times, man.
Very different.
Yeah.
Very,
It's probably
very
better
different.
today. It's probably better today. People are looking out for you more,
Yeah,
You know?
definitely different times, man.
especially when it comes to fighters. someone's got to look out for them. They don't want to stop, and sometimes you got to save them from themselves.
This video went around, or this guy had to play an NBA with a broken neck.
What? He said if you can walk, you can play.
Yeah.
Oh
Gerald
my
Anderson.
God!
That's
1980.
crazy. That's the year I was born.
He played multiple NBA games in a neck brace after he broke his neck.
I'm not exactly sure how it happened. I don't know if it was in game, but there's a few.
Yeah, that's
stuff
wild.
From the 80s like this.
That's wild.
Yeah, they was a lot. I know for a fact they was a lot rougher back then.
The humans were tougher.
Yeah.
They dealt with more adversity. It's like the world wasn't as easy.
It's crazy because it was just different, right? Because back then, when you have people 30 and 40, that was really
Really
old.
Yeah.
30 and 40 now is like shit. I'm 43. You know what I'm saying? So it's normal now.
Yeah.
That shit was everything was just different back then.
Yeah, I'm 56.
You see what I'm
56-year-old
saying?
guys were like halfway dead. Yeah, it's like nobody knew how to work out. Nobody knew how to eat right. There's no vitamins.
Yeah,
You didn't-
definitely.
Yeah.
Shit was different, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's better now in that sense. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely better now.
Yeah, but so my son, I trained him with boxing. I'm pretty sure he gonna go to doing the MMA stuff just to learn, you know. But I'm big on being able to protect yourself, handle your business. So
That's good.
He loved football now though, so I'm just letting him do his thing. And then it's so crazy, speaking of football and all that, man, you can make more in college than you can in the NBA down there.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
But
that's
isn't
what
that
they
a
tried
good thing,
to
though?
stop. Yeah, because they tried to stop it for so
Yeah.
long, man.
It doesn't make any sense. You are making money and the athletes aren't.
Yeah,
And how many athletes, because it's so hard to do, how many athletes blow their knees out, in college and never make it? And meanwhile, they made millions of dollars for the city or for the university, rather.
Yeah.
They should get some money.
That's
How much are those
very
guys
true.
making?
I don't know. They making a lot because I think being just good and notoriable, you can make people be saying millions. It can be 1-2 million. That's a lot for a college student as opposed to if you getting all these different deals. Now, if you go to thinking about maybe LSU, they probably getting Reese is probably getting crazy money at this point.
What do you know, Jamie? How much
trying to find
top
an
college
article.
athletes get paid?
I think LeBron's son right now, Bronny James, is arguable to be the top deal. He's got a couple $1 million deal. Some of them, I don't know how much. They don't have to be fully disclosed either, which is kind of strange.
That is kind of strange. It's imagine if you graduated 4 years ago and you're like, fuck, I gotta be rich as shit.
Yeah.
In a way, they really kind of owe those people.
But they deserve, because you got to realize you got a lot of people who support college games and that, so you have some of them stars that deserve to get it.
Oh yeah, those college alumni people go ham. They donate a lot. They go crazy with that stuff.
Yeah. Definitely, man.
I mean, they make fucking billions of dollars, right?
Shout out to them, man. It's a lot of talent, man. A lot of talent.
What changed that they had to pay the athletes now?
There's a big push. So Ed O'Bannon, who was a basketball player from UCLA in the 90s, they put a lawsuit through to get the big deal for them was the NCAA basketball and football games, because it was when you played them, it was from EA Sports. It was a lot like Madden, but they couldn't put their names in it, and then there became an easy way you could download the rosters and put the names on them. And their player, it was already, you could tell who the player was. They just didn't have their name on it. So they gave them their full stats and full abilities and all that. And a lot of people, it was a very popular game, were buying it for those reasons. So they got that pushed through through courts, and then once that happened, I think it's Wild West now.
Isn't that dirty that they did that? That's so dirty.
Everybody do whatever they can to keep the money as much as they can.
I
man.
know,
It's
in
just-
every business.
Just
Dirty. Just dirty.
some people, they don't really think it's bad business to do that. They think that's the way to be. For me, I just never been. I ain't the selfish type, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get mine regardless. So.
That's good for you. That's a good perspective. Like I said, you're very balanced.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Something I forgot to tell you too. You know, I got my cartoon. We haven't took it to a network, but so I had my cartoon that was out, called Adventures of Trae, and I ended up doing well, now you know everybody on strike, but
yeah.
I partnered with a very, very I don't even know what I'm supposed to say. I just say a very, very big movie / comedian for the new cartoon, but everything kind of is on hold just to figure out where I'm gonna go. I always thought I would have ended up on Adult Swim, but they didn't come get me.
So is everything is still frozen? When are they gonna work that out? Are they close to figuring that out? That strike thing? Because I think Bill Maher was about to redo his show without the writers because he just wanted to employ everybody else. And then he said something on Twitter that it seems that they're going to restart it.
Resume negotiations, and I guess that they had decided for a long time they were not going to be resuming, so that's why people were starting to make other plans.
Damn. They're waiting people out.
Because you got the writers and the actors on strike.
Yeah, it's going to hurt the
The
production.
actors have not talked about resuming negotiations.
Just
Just
the
the
writers.
writers, I guess,
Yeah.
apparently.
Fuck. How long has it been?
I figured this would say right here. This doesn't say. I'll check.
Has to be like a few months, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I would
May
imagine.
2nd started?
Second month?
No, May 2nd.
May 2nd? What?
So 5 months, 4 months? Almost 5 months.
Whoa. Really?
I'm pretty sure they're gonna have to find a way to figure it out. Not even, I wouldn't even say from the actor standpoint. Like realistically, they're gonna have to pay them. Like they need them.
Yeah. Well, the actors and then also all the people that are involved in production that can't work either. Because if you're a grip or you're a lighting guy or whatever you're doing,
And that's all you do.
yeah, none of those people can work. Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna. I'm pretty sure they're gonna have to make. I don't see it dragging too. Maybe it can maybe drag to the end of the year, but at some point, they're gonna have to give in to give them what they want.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is happening. I don't know, but they've talked about doing that with the UFC, like a fighters union, but I don't think that would work. Fighters are too individual. Like if someone offered someone a fight, like a big fight, maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
What would the union be to do what?
The union would be to negotiate minimum contracts, maybe tweak healthcare, maybe put together some sort of a retirement plan, 401k plan for fighters. All those are good ideas.
Yeah, definitely. Just to be able to take care of family afterwards.
Yeah.
That definitely is important.
But there's never been like a fighters union that worked. And I don't know if that's because it can't work. I've never heard of one working. Like the boxers, did they have a boxing union?
I don't think so.
Yeah. It seems like that only works in some industries, but man, these fucking strikes. If you're in that business, like that's hard, especially coming right off the pandemic where everybody didn't work for a long time already.
Yeah. See, man, even though I'm glad I ain't gonna say I'm glad I'm not in the world because I plan on trying to get in the acting world at some point, but even just everything with the pandemic, like I just had to figure different ways, man. Like our company, Bumpbox, it ended up soaring through the pandemic because now you had everybody at home, everybody want to jam music, everybody want to do different type stuff. So different stuff like that was dope. I've always been a hustler. Now I got food trucks now. I got 18-wheeler. Man, I do
What
a
kind of
little
food
bit of
trucks?
everything. So it was a crazy story. Popeyes had a run where they had a chicken sandwich, right?
Yeah.
You remember everybody was going crazy over it.
Yeah.
So my personal chef, I used to always just have him make random stuff. And one day I'm like, man, I'm not waiting in that line. I want to make my own chicken sandwich. And we did it. And the way that he made it, it was, I don't know, it was just different, man. And it got to the point everybody just started calling it the Truth Chicken Sandwich. So now it's just like, man, we just going to do the Truth Truck. It'll be chicken sandwich. It'll be chicken suya tacos. He got the Spanish corn he do. It's like no other, man. It's just a bunch of different stuff.
So where can people get this?
So right now we've been going to figure out, like, I'm one of them people, man. I'm cool with adapting the stuff, but I like to push it to the limit. So lately we just been going back and forth figuring out what we want to make a permanent location. But knowing me, I'm going to try and find a lot and create my own food park at that point, you know.
Nice.
So right now it's no permanent spot, but that's what I'm looking for.
One day.
Yeah. I'm one day within the next month. I'm
open up a spot.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Beautiful.
the truck's ready. I just got to figure out where I want to be. That's good for everybody to go.
If people want to find out anything about this, is there a website they can go to?
As far as the Truth Truck, no, you gave me an idea. I do need to do that because
Yeah.
it's mainly Instagram, you know.
Yeah, get that on Instagram now. You have it on Instagram already?
Yeah, so you can look up.
There it is, the Truth Truck.
Yeah, the Truth Truck, and
Do
then
you have the TruthTruck.com?
not sure. I do need to find that.
Get that shit before this airs. It's gonna be one of them Russian porn sites.
Yeah,
It's gonna be. I'm looking for a boyfriend. Yeah, yeah.
The
let's
main place
register it for him.
Yeah, yes. Matter of fact, look, I'll pay
Yeah.
for it now. What I was gonna say, the main thing people can always, my Instagram at Trae ABN. Like, I'm hands on with everything, man. That man, the main other thing that we doing. See, there's so much other stuff I'll talk to you probably off air, because if I go to pushing it now, before
Right.
for reasons like this, and I get too ahead of myself, but
TruthTruck.com is available. Oh, but the
THA.
THA.
Yeah, THA.
Don't fuck this up, white boy.
Sorry.
Let's see. Did it say it's not available? What? It's not available?
But you know what, my people.
Yeah, he probably has it. It says it's taken, so you might have
Yeah, so I'm gonna find out. They may. I know
Okay.
I didn't
Somebody
physically do it. Yeah.
Well, I hope somebody didn't see your truck and then register it.
That would
Because you put the truck up on Instagram already?
Yeah, because you know what people do is they'll go buy it and then wait a little while,
and then
make you
try to
have to
sell it
buy
to
it
you.
for them. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm gonna find that out. I hopefully let's hope this conversation just was wasted and it's already done. But that, you know, we can always, man. You know, the crazy thing, you shouted out Bump Box one time, man, and shit went crazy that next day
Really?
on bumpbox.com. Yeah. You one of the few people that actually it sent traffic like no other to the site, man.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Good to hear that.
Yeah, and that's been a blessing too. So we've been able to, like, you know, we had the Selena box, the Leah, the Notorious Big, and with us doing that, it's ways to actually feed the family, you know, and do the DMX, you know, it's different ways we do it where we can help the estates and also find ways to get more money for the family. So everything I do, man, I always incorporate trying to give back in some sense. And I remember talking to Tyson, and Mike was like, man, Trae, I watch you do so much and spend so much. He like, all the stuff you do, we were talking about my holiday. I'm not sure if you're familiar. So in Houston, my holiday is Trae Day, July 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. I got Trae Day in Houston. I got one in Milwaukee too. But on my holiday, it was a day that everybody would celebrate me, but I switched it and made it a day to celebrate for the city. So I get all the kids in the city their school supplies, backpacks, uniforms. I bring game rides. I bring a bunch of athletes, singers, comedians, entertainers, movie stars that kids only can see on YouTube. I bring them all out. I rent a stadium out, and it's just a family fun day where kids get to experience different stuff that they never get to experience. Give away cars, scholarships. Like, I just make it a whole weekend of me just giving back. But he was like, man, Trae, you had your foundation so long, man. There's probably people out there that if they knew what you did, that would damn near donate, or people would come sponsor. And I'm one of them people, I don't know if you, I guess you can consider it kind of prideful. It's just like, man, I don't really like asking people for nothing. I'm going to figure it out and just get it done. So lately I've been really trying to focus on really making sure people understand about my foundation and what it is I really do, so they can actually do they rather do their research or just take part in it. Because
Do you have a website where any of this stuff is listed?
Yeah,
What's that on?
angelbynature.com. And then a lot of people know us from Angel by Nature, or during Harvey we started Relief Gang. But everything we do, man, we do stuff. If you was to go to Google my name, you'll see a bunch of, and people only get to see like 10, 20% of what I do.
All right.
Oh yeah, that's Angel by nature.
Well, Trae, thank you very much for coming here, man. I appreciate you. Good luck with your new album. Good luck with Bump
Stuck in
Box
Motion.
and the
Yeah.
Truth Truck and everything. It's always great to see you.
Definitely.
Thanks,
I'm
man.
pretty sure we'll see each other soon
For sure.
at the fight.
For sure. All right. Take care. Bye, everybody.